The views expressed on Talk Real Solutions, hosted by Tyrone Thompson at talkrealsolutions.com, are the views of Tyrone Thompson and do not reflect the views of talkrealsolutions.com, YouTube, or etc. The content here belongs to Talk Real Solutions and its many contributors. Views and opinions expressed by all contributors belong to them and not talkrealsolutions.com or Tyrone Thompson, the host, or etc. All data and information provided on the site is for informational purposes only. Talk Real Solutions makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, correctness, suitability, or validity of any information on this site and will not be liable for any errors, omissions, or delays in this information or any losses, injuries, or damages arising from its display or use. All information is provided on an as-is basis.
Welcome to the show. This is Talk Real Solutions, and I am your host tonight, Tyrone Thompson, and I want to thank you for tuning in. Today is, Thursday, of course, October the 12th, 2023. And I want to invite you to go to talkrealsolutions.com, and there you will find the 3-point plan to Black empowerment and financial freedom. It has 3 points, of course. And the first point is to get together with like-minded people. The next point is to stop all unnecessary spending and save your money. The third point is, as a unit, invest or save your money in a verified and trusted institution. A great goal will be for you to open a Black-owned business. And right above the 3-point plan, you have a link to African American-owned banks and credit unions. We could all start moving our money to these institutions to start practicing group economics today. And check out the rest of the links and articles on the website. And if you want to call in to the show tonight, all you have to do is look on the screen, or is it on the screen? I don't know if it's on the screen. It's not on the screen. Or look in the description box. It's in the description box, and you can call in and join the conversation at 717-908-1834, and the access code is 917324, and I'll get you on the line like I always do. Y'all know I'm not afraid of any conversation. I'll take on all comers. It don't matter the subject, the topic. You know, if I don't have an opinion on something, of course I'll try to back up from that, because there's a lot of things that I don't find interesting, but you know, the majority of the things you guys know that I try to talk about, politics, because that's a safe space. That is a safe space. From my history on the internet, politics is pretty much safe, without pissing people off, because people be all in their opinions. When it comes to the conscious community, they want to fight you. When it comes to religious talk, they want to fight you. When it comes to the manosphere and these hungry men out here that they can't get none, they want to fight you. You start talking about that. When it comes to different subjects, Black men that's going their own way, and I guess this new passport boys and Sigma males and alpha males, everybody wanting to fight and get upset because they hangry or horny and angry at the same damn time. I ain't got no time for that. So politics is safe. And I did religion for a long time, and I found out people, they just angry and getting mad. I can't help. The truth is the truth. I ain't changed my views about that. I was just trying to respect people's feelings and stuff like that, and I might touch on a little bit of that tonight, because it is what it is, and the longer people stay quiet on this planet about the truth, the more I feel like you're doing an injustice to humanity, And what do I mean by that? Well, look at what's going on in Israel right now. clearly, they're fighting over some fake deity. Well, what is this? This is something new. Hey, MJ, let me see what this. It got a heart or something on here. I'm sorry, I'm like a puppy when something catch my attention. I got to focus on that. So if I did that, it's click this, and then it's like the I don't know. It's like the smiley faces and stuff. Ooh, okay. I don't know how that got up there, but I guess that's something new. But anyway, if you look at what's going on in Israel against the Palestinians and the Jewish people, that ain't nothing but religion. This is the quintessential, every once in a while I use a big word. This is exactly what I was talking about years ago on how dangerous religion is. I can't put it. No, religion's so dangerous that they're using missiles and bombs, killing children, families being separated, people are in hunger, all because of some idea. Human beings are getting murdered, and we'll get into that. I know my title is a little provocative. Well, I said America and Israel is engaged in genocide against the Palestinians, and I don't even know the Palestinians. I to me, I'm thinking that they're about like the Saudis, where they've got this archaic way of justice and chopping people fingers off and hands and heads and all this kind of stuff. I'm thinking that they're Muslims like that, and that's their justice system. Now, those people has not grown out of that archaic way of handling justice, right? Chopping off fingers and toes and heads and shit, right? They have not. And seem like they want to hold on to it. But at the same time, if you look at medieval times, the Europeans did the same thing with the guillotines, right? Somehow another, time hasn't allowed these people to grow out of that archaic way of handling business, so it is what it is when it comes to that. And what's going on in Washington is the Republicans is just as stupid as they always has been. A couple of weeks ago, they was talking about shutting down the government by not funding it. And then they stumbled over their big ass feet and shut down the government anyway by getting rid of the Speaker of the House. Washington can't function right now because there is no Speaker of the House. I've always said that Republicans cannot. They don't have the ability. They are incapable of governing. That is a fact. Why that party exists in this country, I do not know, except for to appease white America in opposition to the way black people vote. The Speaker of the House has been vacant now for a couple of days, and the closest thing they come in to getting a speaker is nominating a member of literally the KKK, Steve Scalise. I told y'all the KKK is taking over Washington. Steve Scalise is best known for his quote is, "I'm David Duke without the baggage." So that's what we got going on in Washington, where you got the KKK that is in charge of the House of Representatives. They can't make up their mind on how to lead. You got Russia at war, and you got the Republicans that don't want to fund this war or support this war in Ukraine. And then you got Republicans that don't want to support Israel. Now, funding, I kind of see that too. I don't think that we should fund them as heavily as we are, But as far as supplying information, some equipment, things like that, I think that we should help Ukraine. But here's the funny thing about Ukraine. And I want to make sure that I get this right. So Russia has invaded Ukraine, taken over some of its land, killing and occupying the Ukrainian territories. And the United States is hell-bent on getting Russia out of Ukraine. Now, the Jewish people has invaded Palestine, taken over its land, pushed them into Gaza, the Gaza Strip, and the United States want to support what Israel is doing. Somebody make that make sense to me. I don't get it. I do not get it. The United States is supporting the genocide of a people when it comes to the Palestinians. But when it comes to Ukraine, the United States is against Ukraine being invaded and taken over by Russia. I mean, what's right is right. And I know Israel and America got a long relationship, and all that kind of bullshit, but they're pretty much getting rid of the Palestinian people. They're getting rid of the Palestinian people. And I think I shared this with you guys a long time ago. In the 1960s, Palestine was that whole area over there. Oh, they don't have it on Wikipedia no more. Maybe I can get it on Google. But they used to have a history on how Palestine map before and after. Let me see. Yeah, here it go right here. Now, it's nuts how the United States is not saying anything, right? And if you look at the screen, you will see I'm not making this up. But the United States is in support of the genocide of a fucking people. Now, you know what? I don't know who the Palestinian is. I think they're closer to like Iran and Saudi Arabia. They're Muslims or whatever. I don't know. They probably got that old way of thinking too, because I heard news of them chopping off baby heads and all this kind of crap. But my point is, Palestine in 1946 was this big old green area, right? And then the Jews moved in 1947, and I don't know if it was through war or through deals or treaties, but they took a lot of the Palestinian land in 1947, and by 1967, they took a great deal more. Now, this 2012 map is not correct, because let's find Palestine in 2012 or 2023, and let's see if they got it. I don't think that's right, because what they're talking about is the Palestinians only being in the Gaza Strip. And I'll show that to you in a minute. Which means they got rid of those people, or they had to move out. Oh man. Okay, so I pointed to you on the map. All right, so whenever you're looking at this 2012 map and you're looking at Gaza, you're looking at this little green area right here. So from 1946, which was, Palestine, up until 2023, the Palestinians have been pushed back to this little green area right here. And that little green area is what the paragliders came out of, and they were shooting missiles into Israel. And that's what started the conflict. But there's some more that you need to be known, is because as you can see, the Palestinians are blocked off, and in order for them to get access to anything, supplies, going in and out, travel, whatever, they had to go through Israel, right? And Israel was denying passage and all this kind of stuff. They was starving people in the Gaza Strip, and the Palestinians was in the Gaza Strip, like, goddamn, you killing us. They gave it a nickname of the biggest open air prison in the world because of the conditions that the Israelis was keeping the Palestinians in. So, of course, if you're holding human beings in such conditions, they're going to retaliate. Now, I don't agree with anybody dying. I don't agree with the Palestinians or Hamas killing any people, killing anybody, or and all that. I don't agree with that. But to go to that resort to where they're bombing people and killing people. Obviously, Israel wasn't listening to make a deal with these people to try to make their lives better. So, because clearly, if the Palestinians are fighting back now, they don't have a chance against Israel. They just don't. Israel basically can wipe these people off the map, and which is what their intentions sound like from their leadership. And the United States is right there hand in hand with Israel, saying that it's okay to wipe these people off the map. And that's where I take issue, is, of course, you're going to stand with your ally Israel, but at the same time, you can't side with Israel if they're talking about committing such inhumane acts as they're doing. Because in retaliation for the attack on Israel, what Israel did was they just started bombing the Gaza Strip, hotels, homes, it didn't matter, daycare, babies. They started bombing the Gaza Strip and just basically killing everybody without even looking for the terrorists or the people that actually committed these acts. They just want to go ahead and make that entire place over there Israel, which is, with the help of the United States, which is what they're on their way to doing, clearly. And I don't agree with that. I don't agree with it. Some of these pictures coming out of Gaza is just horrible. Palestine or the Gaza Strip or Hamas bad. Israel good, Hamas or the Palestinians bad. That's all you're hearing without the context of history, and that's just bullshit. I mean, you hear it from, well, you know what? I just listened to Chris Hayes tonight. So Chris Hayes is telling the story, but of course, nobody is wanting to support anybody killing people and all that kind of stuff. Nobody wants to support terrorism at all. But some of these images that is coming out, I'm not going to search for any images. I'll just display whatever's on Google, and you guys can see that. But the way the media is portraying this whole situation is like, if you got any other way of thinking, and you're not 100% behind Israel's decisions, then there's something wrong with you. You're anti-Israel, or you're anti-Jew, or whatever. And that's just not the case. I've been saying these Jewish people are wrong for taking this place. And I've been saying that the United States, you and I, should not be funding Israel with our hard-earned dollars. If they want to be a state or a country, they need to earn their money themselves. What the fuck does Israel produce? Where the hell are they getting money to even exist? Think about it. We know that Ukraine got cornfields and wheat fields. We know that European make cars. We know that Japan is technologically more advanced than everybody else. So they're into the digital thing and they're producing that for the world. We know China do every damn thing else, hats, t-shirts, tennis shoes or whatever, and they produce that stuff for the world. Somebody tell me, what the fuck does Israel produce? And if your answer is little to no product, right? I'm not saying that they don't produce anything, because obviously I don't know. And if I get it wrong, I want to be able to correct myself. But if they produce little to no product to the economy of the world, then where are they getting funded? See, whenever Black Americans start talking about reparations and trying to have a conversation about what's rightfully due to a group of people that has been in bondage, the Jews made this whole shit up with Israel. They went over there, and as you can see by the map, they took somebody's land. But you know our history in this country of being oppressed and being enslaved and not being able to come up at the same time as the rest of America. That's a real history, and it put us behind economically. So we are literally suffering economically because of the conditions that white America put us in. And whenever we want to have the conversation about making us even, then it's immediately cut off or dismissed. But we have to sit here as Americans that has suffered oppression and slavery and economic withdrawal and all that kind of bullshit. We have to sit here and watch a group of people that did suffer in 1942, I think that's when it was, through the Holocaust, and was provided with reparations from all kinds of countries, including America, when we wasn't the ones that causing the atrocity. And now this same group of people, we have to continually fund with our tax money in perpetually forever. And we're not supposed to say anything about how this country is spending our tax money. My tax money is going to Israel. My tax money is going to damn Ukraine. And we can't talk about righting this ship of this unequal justice in America for black people. You know, and fuck it. I'm just going to say it. and all of this is because of this religious mindset that we have as human beings. Listen to what the hell I'm saying. Black people, you are mostly fucking Christian, right? And for some reason, the Jews belong in that same fucking book that you belong to. And they're justified in asking America as Christians to fund their existence. These people are fighting a religious war right now, and the Christian Americans is siding with the Christian Jews to go against the Muslims. Now, I want you to open your eyes right now on what's really going on in Israel. The Christian Americans are siding with the Christian Jews against the Muslims. Now, all of this shit y'all know, I believe, is made the fuck up. So now what you're telling me is because of some fucking fairy tale, because of some fucking body believing some of body is the sky is granting wishes with people. Y'all got to bring out the missiles. You got to bring out the bombs. You got to kill children. You got to cut their fucking heads off. You got to cause this fucking great genocide of a people because of this fake ass belief system that somebody's going to grant you a goddamn wish. So where is this God for the Palestinians? Where is this God for the Ukrainians? Right? This is why I say it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. The media won't tell you that that's a religious war. The media won't tell you because of the Bible, people are blowing people up off of the face of the damn planet. The media won't tell you that that book is causing so much death and destruction on this damn planet. They won't say that. But that's what the hell is going on. It ain't got shit to do with how the Palestinians or Hamas or whoever the fuck bombed Israel and you know, all of a sudden terrorists is attacking. Why is the terrorists attacking? Why? Because of their belief systems. Why the fuck do the Jews want to eliminate the Palestinians? Because of their belief systems. And why the hell ain't the media telling you that they're having a fucking religious war and the Christian Americans is siding with the Christian Jews to cause genocide to the Palestinians, which is Muslim? Why? These conversations are so sensitive that people don't want to have these damn conversations. And why is it so dangerous that I point out that this is a religious war going on in fucking Israel? Because if you look at America and you look at the right wing of America and you look at the evangelical KKK racist Republicans, you have the same type of attitude when they want to kill the gays, kill the transsexuals, take away the rights of women, take away the right for black people to vote, allow police officers to commit its own form of genocide against black people and brown people in this motherfucking country and not say a goddamn thing. It's the same shit going on in America, except for they're not using bombs. They're using their fucking policies. They're not using bombs. They're using their penal system. It's the same shit going on against my motherfucking people in this country. Day after day after day. But the news ain't telling you. And to put a nail in what I'm saying here is these people on the right are holding on to that Bible to justify that thin blue line. They're holding on to that Bible to justify taking away the right to vote. They're holding on to that Bible to justify being homophobic. It's a religious motherfucking war. David Duke is a Christian. The Proud Boys are devout Christians. They're evangelicals. And they're extremists. Whenever you look at the religious war that's going on in Israel, and they're killing each other and chopping each other's fucking heads off and chopping children's head off, if you allow Donald Trump to be the leader of this country and allow Fox News to spread his propaganda, I guarantee you 5 to 10 years from now, you'll be seeing same type of atrocities in this damn country. I promise you that. The police are already in the streets killing people over fucking traffic stops, black people. Imagine that. I could die in America because I didn't turn on my damn turn signal. Imagine that. And at the same time, if you look at the Gaza Strip, you could die in Gaza if you tried to get out of the Gaza Strip to go get something for your damn family. Imagine that. How do the fucking Palestinian people look? I don't even know. Like I said, I don't know. But I do know the history of Palestine and Israel. Oh, I can't spell. How the fuck? I'm sorry. Because I'm wanting to, since I'm saying that they Muslim, right? They've got to be brown skin, right? And I don't know. Let me see. I know they're not European. Or they could be. Hell, I don't know. They got brown hair, most of them. I don't see any blonde hair. So they may be considered brown people. I don't know. There's a reason why America and Israel is okay with just blowing these people off the damn map. There's a reason. It might be because they're Muslim, right? And it might be because of, and I think like the Palestinians are supported by Iran and Lebanon and all these people. And we know all them Muslims. And Israel, of course, they're Jewish, which is a branch of Christianity. And that's all that is. And America has allowed the Jews to violate their agreements with Palestine and take more and more land and push those people into the Gaza Strip. And now, with that little piece of green land that you see right there, clearly, after this is over with, Israel is probably going to own that land. And they're not going to have anywhere for the Palestinians to go. So I don't know what will happen and why the UN and other countries is allowing the Jewish people to just over years just take the Palestinian land. I don't know what the fuck that is besides religion. If you guys know, then let me know. I don't want to hear that, we're alone We're long, strong allies with Israel. I don't give a fuck about that. Why are you allowing this? You know, I don't give a shit about you being an ally. You can be an ally and have a two-state solution between Palestine and Israel, where, okay, well, here's a fucking boundary. And you stay here and you stay here. And Palestine, I don't give a shit about your cultural history being on the other side of the line. And Israel, I don't give a fuck about your cultural history being on the other side of the line. Y'all clearly cannot get along. So here is where you live and here's where you live. Not one come over there and take over the whole fucking slough of land and murder these motherfuckers slowly over the years. Y'all can clearly see since 1946, the Palestinians has been pushed out of their damn land. Now, before 1946, because the shit didn't start in the 1900s. Before 1946, maybe that land was occupied by somebody else. The British, okay, here we go, 1917, the British mandates Palestine. Okay, so in 1917, I guess the fucking British owned it before 1917, and then they gave it to Palestine. And then 1948 to 1967, we seen that map, Palestine, Israel. So, I don't know. They've been going back and forth over that land forever. You know, that even goes back to the fucking, I don't know, the Mongols and even before that. So they've been fighting over this land forever. And what I'm saying is whenever we came into a time period where people were, I don't want to use the word civilized, but they was having these agreements and all this kind of stuff. Some type of deal could have been made over there in that area. And a fair deal, you know, over there in that area to where this type of stuff wouldn't have happened. Now, do I want the Hamas to go around killing people? No, I don't. But at the same time, Israel is killing innocent people. And I don't hear it in the media. I know our country supports Israel. But at the same time, like for instance, they know that there's a terrorist group that attacked Israel. Why don't you just track down the goddamn terrorists? You already control Gaza. You already control Gaza, so you can go in there at will and do whatever the fuck you want to do. You can go in there and get rid of those terrorist cells or whatever the fuck, because you control that whole goddamn piece of land. The United States is providing you with all of this fucking equipment. You tell me you can't use it without killing babies and breaking up families and bombing buildings and I mean, get the fuck out of here. Nobody agrees with the way Israel is handling this. And in Washington, they're getting up on stage and they're saying that Israel has a right to protect itself. True. And Israel has a right to retaliate. Wait a minute. Retaliate how? Just by indiscriminately blowing up shit? America is changing. We ain't never been like that. That's why we have had wars to where whoever we kill, and they are not always accurate. Whoever we kill, we supposed to have targets and all this kind of bullshit and kill the right fucking person. But they're saying Israel can indiscriminately go over there and just drop bombs on buildings and kill people. They full of shit. What they're, like I said, what is going on is a genocide that America and Israel is engaged in against the Palestinians. Now, that's my little conspiracy. And, you know, people might not agree with my assessment. But goddamn it, that map is telling me that I might be right. And the way the media is actually announcing this shit is like if you're an American and you say anything else besides all in support for fucking Israel, then there's something wrong with you. You must be anti-Semitic, and all that dumb shit. Nobody's anti-Semitic. I don't give a fuck about your damn religion, to be honest with you. Except for y'all need to recognize that's why y'all killing each other. Y'all killing each other over some ancient motherfucking book. You're killing children over something that some fucking body in the desert was written on some fucking parchment thousands of years ago. That's why you're killing some goddamn body. You're killing each other because of this genie or these prophecies or these texts that says 2,000 years ago or so that you supposed to be on this motherfucking land. That's why you're chopping off heads and no, I don't give a shit about none of that. I think it's stupid. I think America's position in blindly supporting Israel is stupid. I think that instead of just blindly supporting Israel, not one time when this thing kicked off did I see America say anything about the Palestinian people. And I was like, okay, we talking about Hamas, which is y'all labeled a terrorist group, but clearly that they're in charge of, they're the government of Gaza, I guess, but I don't know. But y'all didn't say anything about the Palestinian people and the way that Israel, I guess Prime Minister came out and said they're going to eradicate everybody over there and just starve them and cut them off. And I'm like, what the fuck? You going to cut off all them damn people and you going to bomb that whole motherfucking area. See, and I think they're trying to walk that shit back. Now, whenever they took the hostages and all of that kind of stuff, I don't agree with that. Hamas, y'all need to get it. Well, I guess they got to have some type of leverage. I don't know. I think the whole thing is silly. Israel is already getting our money. I don't think that they need to be funded. I think that the funds for the Ukraine need to be pulled back. And I think that we need to have a conversation about how Black Americans should be funded in this damn country. But that ain't gonna happen. I don't even know why I say shit like that. Nobody don't want to have a serious conversation about that ever. They've already been programmed not to even address those type of conversations in this country. And you can't even have just a hypothetical conversation because people lose their damn mind because they white daddy, they white massa done told them that's the wrong thing to say. And in America, like I said, let's push Israel to the side. I think they nominated a KKK member. Let me type his name in Google. Steve Scalise. Well, here's some breaking goddamn news. I guess CNN is reporting that the KKK member is dropping out of the race for the Speaker of the House. Well, maybe that baggage that he was talking about, that he has, maybe people recognizing that ain't a good representation for somebody to be third in line for the goddamn presidency. Maybe they recognizing a KKK member should not be third in line for the damn presidency. Because it looked like Steve Scalise has dropped out of the House, the Speaker's race for the House. So I don't know what caused him to drop out. Yeah, everybody's reporting it, that the KKK member has dropped out. So I don't know who's going to be the fucking Speaker of the House now, and while they're going through this fucking bullshit, America is broke. America cannot support Israel any fucking way. Listen to me now. Who controls the money for America? I want to get it right because if Sarge hear me say something wrong, he'll call in here yelling and he'll be stuck on that. Who controls the money for America? I know who it is. Well, it's Congress that controls the money for America, right? And without a Speaker of the House, Congress is fucking broke. So you can't support Israel anyway. Hell, you cannot fund Ukraine anymore because the Republicans decided that it's more important for them to listen to that fucking goddamn 91 fucking goddamn count felon, that rapist down in Florida, that person that tried to steal the goddamn election, that tried to discount black voters in this country. It's more important for them to listen to that orange idiot who supports Hamas and said to hell with Israel, loves Vladimir Putin. It's more important for them to support that fucking fool who will probably be in jail by the end of next year than it is for them to have a functioning government. Because without a Speaker of the House, your Congress is broke. They can't do shit. And they put the budget on a 45-day, and if they don't have a Speaker of the House, the government is going to shut down. It seems like the government, the shutting down of the government is what the Republicans want to do. They want to crash America. And I think their tactic, it's a childish tactic, right? And I'm just guessing at this. I think their tactic is to cause chaos. Because historically and in fairy tales, right? If you have chaos, then you're going to need Superman to fly in and fix the problem. So I don't know if that's their fucking strategy. It seems childish enough to be what they're thinking. But they're not even trying to govern. They're not trying to do. Who the fuck kicks out the Speaker of the House? Even though I didn't like McCarthy, you had a functioning government. Even though it was dysfunctional and won't doing shit, at least you had a government that was semi-functioning. So who wants to break the motherfucking government? You seen that on January the 6th. They didn't give a fuck about the rules. They didn't give a fuck about the Constitution. These motherfuckers don't give a shit about law and order in this damn country. And then when they get rid of their fucking Speaker of the House, they try to nominate a KKK member to lead them. Even though I believe the entire Republican Party is the KKK. Fuck them. Nancy Mace, Lindsey Graham, Tim Scott, all of them are support of white nationalists, white supremacists, and the KKK. Every goddamn one of them. Because, I mean, if you look at the Democrats and you had black extremists or any type of extremists on the side of the, you know what? You ain't even got to look at no extremists. Hold on for a second. Watch this. What is that motherfucker name? Senator. How the fuck you spell senator? I'm crazy. I don't know how to spell senator. What is fuck? There you go, right there. Okay, so you don't even have to look at no extremists, right? This guy right here, Bob Menendez, is a Democrat senator. And he did some goddamn illegal shit with some funds and all this kind of bullshit. And rightfully so, The Democrats are saying you need to fucking resign. You need to get the fuck out of here. We don't want you here no more. You don't represent this damn party. You don't even have to be extreme. But the Republican Party, if you cheat, like Bob Menendez did, the Democrats is gonna kick your ass out. They don't want you in there. They don't want you in there. What is this? It said what did he do? Senator Menendez is accused of being an unregistered agent of the Egypt government in an updated indictment. See, this motherfucker was doing all kinds of shit. I didn't know this. Of New Jersey was charged Thursday with conspiring for years to act as an agent of the Egyptian government while he held a powerful role in the U.S. for foreign policy, putting Democrats in deeper legal trouble as he continues to reject calls for him to resign. So I didn't know what the hell this motherfucker was doing, but I guess he was in all kinds of shit, and the Democrats is telling you, get the fuck out. They don't do that extreme shit. You know, and that's one thing I can respect the Democrats for. I can respect the Democrats for not, going along with that extreme shit. But the Republican Party will not kick Steve Scalise out, even though he said that he was a David Duke without the baggage. That's racist, Republicans. The Republican parties will not get rid of Matt Gaetz, even though he supposedly and allegedly have been accused of child trafficking. The Republican Party will not get rid of Lauren Boebert whenever she's sitting up in the movie theater that is occupied by children getting groped and grind on and grabbing penises in public. They won't get rid of her. The Republican Party won't get rid of that racist ass Marjorie Taylor Greene that has said countless racist fucking statements. They won't get rid of her. The Republican Party won't get rid of Lindsey Graham, even though he's been racist. Tim Scott, even though he's been racist. Nikki Haley has said, listen, every time you say America is not a racist country, you are being fucking racist. It is clear that this country was built at the hands of an oppressed people, of somebody that was enslaved. And in order for you to conduct yourself in that manner, you have to be racist. In order for you to make a decision in your Constitution like Dred Scott, you've got to be racist. In order for your country to have a history of Jim Crow laws, you've got to be racist. In order for your country to have the highest population of black men on this goddamn planet in prison, you've got to be fucking racist. So every time these motherfuckers say that America is not a racist country, you are the fucking racist, Tim Scott. You are the racist, Nikki Haley. So no, the Republicans won't get rid of these racist people out of their party. They will not get rid of the racist people. As soon as Bob Menendez or whatever his fucking name was, these indictments came down, they were like, you got to go. We don't want you here. Bye. George Santos. George Santos is the most, I never seen anyone lie as much as George Santos get nominated, and then them motherfuckers don't want to even mention his goddamn name. As many lies as this motherfucker, he done been a drag queen. He done been a drag queen. His mama done died in 9/11 and was resurrected. He done stole money from a damn vet. George Santos is a lying piece of shit. Let me see if he got a drag queen picture. There ain't nothing wrong being a drag queen, but if you're a drag queen. I know y'all heard about it. I think he was in, yeah, there you go. There you go. He was a drag queen. Ain't that some shit? A Republican. I guess he know how to do makeup pretty good, huh? But the lies that he told, the Republicans don't. Is that him? Oh, that's somebody making fun of him. But the lies that he told, the Republicans don't want to get rid of him. They won't get rid of no damn body. And that's what's wrong with that damn party. That's why you don't have a Speaker of the House right now. And that's why they nominated a KKK member to be the Speaker of the House. And I don't know if I did a good job tonight of drawing the parallels between Israel and its extreme fucking religious ways, and they're using religion to bomb and kill Palestinians, and the extreme religious right in this country that is using their power and positions to kill black people and destroy this damn government by getting rid of the fucking Speaker of the House. This is all religion that is happening in Washington. Even though they're immoral and all that kind of stuff, when you find Lauren Boebert on a damn church stage preaching to Christians, you will find Marjorie Taylor Greene saying that she wants to make this a Christian nation, right? You'll find Harris Faulkner on Fox News talking about Christian values and morals and all that kind of bullshit. I'm telling you, this is a Christian movement going on in this country. And when you watch these Christians look at these police officers killing black people, they don't give a fuck about what, because in the Bible, you're descendants of Ham. You supposed to die. You supposed to be have a sin cast against you. You supposed to be in prison. I'm telling you, that's in the subconscious of this damn country, according to their own fucking doctrine. And we looking around saying, I wonder why we getting treated like this. Well, it's in that damn book. That's why that book is stupid. Well, why is the fucking Palestinians getting blew the fuck off the face of the planet? Well, it's in that goddamn book. And that's why they're killing each other over there. Why is the United States, a Christian nation, siding with those Jews over there in Israel, Christian Jews? Well, it's in that goddamn book. You know, we both Christians, so we're going to kill these people. That's what the fuck going on. We're going to kill the Muslims, right? I don't know. I've been saying that shit for years, and now y'all seeing it come. It's just what it is. If we don't address the mindset of people that believe in these fake-ass goddamn ideologies, this world going to be fucked. Donald Trump is using Christianity as Donald Trump ain't no damn Christian, so he's using Christianity and he playing with these white people, and they calling him the goddamn savior. You know, it's crazy. But okay, I'm gonna shut up. If you want to call in, the number to call is 717-908-1834, and the access code is 917-324. And what's happening, Frodo and MJ? Look like y'all alone in the chat tonight. What's happening, Miss Elisa? Welcome to the show.
Hi, Tyrone. How are you doing?
There goes Sarge. Sarge, call in, you dummy. What's happening, Miss Elisa? You got anything?
Just a few things. I said this week that I was going to get the information on Donald Trump and what was the name of his show?
The Apprentice?
The Apprentice. And I did. But I'm not going to discuss that tonight. We'll do that next week. I just wanted to go over, because I see, like, with all of this mess that's you spoke on it, that's going on between Israel and Palestine. And I feel like a lot of our people don't really understand, why is they fighting? What started this? And you hit upon, you're right.
Elisa, hold on for 1 second. I just opened somebody's line. Who line is this?
What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Jay? Mute your line, man, because you got some static going on. And I'll call you when Elisa done, okay?
Okay.
All right. Go ahead, Elisa.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. You take it all the way back to biblical days. So I'm going to go over to I'm just take it to the ABCs, because my Bible is rusty. I'm not a scholar. But when I have people say, well, what is it that you take it back to back to the biblical days. And are you familiar with Abraham and Sarah from the Bible?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Abraham and Sarah. Okay, let me just little piece. Okay, the Old Testament, Sarah also spelled, Sarah, in the Old Testament, the wife of Abraham and the mother of Isaac. Sarah was childless until she was 90 years old. God promised Abraham that he would be the mother of the nations and that she would conceive and bear a son. But Sarah did not believe. Isaac, born to Sarah and Abraham in their old age, was the fulfillment of God's promise to them. The barrenness of Sarah cited to the purpose of Genesis 11:30. I'm not Bible, so I probably said that wrong. Stands in tension with the central theme of Abraham's saga, the promise that God will make him the founder of the mighty nation with respect to the fulfillment of the promise. Sarah embodies the themes of fear and doubt. Abraham indulged faith and hope. Her doubt drives Sarah to devise her own way of realizing the promise. She gives Abraham her maidservant Hagar so that Hagar might bear a child for them. When the promise is repeated, Sarah expresses her doubt in sarcastic laughter. And when the promise is kept, Sarah, overcome by joy, still implies her doubt had been reasonable. Her tomb of Hebron was a sign of Abraham's faith that God promised the land would also be kept. Now, I'm not going to go into all of this, the Abraham and Sarah shit. Anybody who's listening and will listen later,
Are they talking about Israel over there? Is that what they're talking about?
Yeah. And the Jews and the Palestinians, I'm just trying to break it down like if I was speaking to a child. They're the same people. They're the same people, the Palestinians and the Jews. This shit started back biblical, Abraham and Sarah. It's a whole long story involving that and about the man and this and the baby and Isaac. And I'm not getting because it's a long story, but I would suggest that people get into it and read about that, Abraham and Sarah. And then I would suggest after they read the story of Abraham and Sarah, that gets you kind of at the point of the conflict. You see what I'm saying? Between the two. It's biblical. I'm not even sure if the Palestinians, the people over there, if they really even, half them probably really don't even know the whole, ins and outs. But that's basically a starting point where I would put people. And then you read all of that, and then we're going to come all the way up to, and let's stop at World War II. World War II, I'm just going to read you a little piece. We stop when we get to World War II. Now, everybody knows what went on with World War II. Germany's and Nazis, assess all of that. Their main goal was to exterminate the entire Jewish race. And they practically killed out there other groups that were over there. It wasn't just them that they killed, others too. But we'll stop there. Most should know if you studied any type of world history in school. I'll say in middle school, high school. So you kind of have an idea of what went on there. After the ending of World War II, a whole bunch went on. I'm not going to get into all of that. But it brings us up to World War II. Okay, that's not right here. In the Second World War, the Jewish community of this country contributed its full share of the struggle of the freedom and peace-loving nations against the forces of the Nazis' wickedness, and by the blood of the soldiers in its war effort, gained to rise and reckon among the peoples who founded the nation. On the 29th of November 1947, the United Nations, this is after the war, the United Nations General Assembly passed a resolution calling for the establishment of a Jewish state in Israel. The General Assembly required the inhabitants of I'm probably mispronouncing that. It's ERETC, Israel, to take such steps as were necessary on the part of the implementation of the resolution, the recognition of the United Nations and the right of the Jewish people to establish their state irrevocable. The right of the natural right of the Jewish people to the masters of their own fate, like all of the other nations, on their own sovereign state. According, we members of the People Council, representatives of the Jewish community of the Zionist movement, are here assembled on the day of termination of the British mandate over the Israel, and by the virtue of our natural historic right, on the strength of the revolution of the United Nations and the General Assembly, hereby declare the establishment of the Jewish state and Israel to be known as the State of Israel. Okay, so I'm not going to go in all of World War II. That's for whoever trying to get an understanding. They say that belonged to them over there where they are, and the Palestinians said it belongs to them. That's where they are. And the Jewish state, if we come all the way up to now, Netanyahu and his cronies that are in the government over there, their main thing is they keep pushing this. Every time they come up with some type of, they act like they've made a deal or they come to a resolution on the settlements to stop pushing forward into you just showed the map of what belongs to Israel, and I think it was in the red what was still Palestine, and they keep pushing those settlements. They keep going and going and going and going, and that's why they have them basically crowded. And that is, in a sense, it is an open air prison. And these two groups, which I don't know, people will get mad at. These two groups are they one people? They have been fighting. The Jewish nation, the Jewish people, they have the money, they have the power. The Palestinians don't, but they have the terrorists. You have Hezbollah and Hamas and all these different other countries. We all know they conflict over there. So basically, that's where we are right now. And I was getting ready to call Netanyahu the T word as well. But what he is doing over there in Israel, they have been protesters trying to get this man out from government over there. He's on far right. He's trying to pull some pure shit going on over there in Israel himself, him and his government. And it's like he ignores everything. Every time they have some type of agreement, some type of something going on with the Palestinians, he continues to push them settlements. And the Palestinians over the past couple of decades has picked up a lot of understanding and a lot of support around the world. Because the world sees what Israel is doing. Basically, they want them gone, and they want it all. And with their current administration, who is extremely Trump-like, that is what they're doing. And a lot of the people that have been protesting against Netanyahu, we've done stories on Israel back some years ago. They have their own concentration camps and stuff up in Israel. And if you all remember back to the story, Tyrone, you should, who's in those camps. Let's don't get stupid. So, but I'll just say this before, because I know when people call in, some people probably, if people call in, if they get on there, certain things they're going to say. I myself condemn what Hamas, that terrorist attack that they did on Israel, because those are the innocents. But I stand with the innocent people in Palestine, because it's mainly women and children that are getting killed. And for everybody who might be listening now and you watch the news and things here in the United States, you're just going to get one side of the story. So I'm going to recommend, a station where I get my information and my coverage over, wait a minute. Well, no, that's not it. Because I want to tell, if you really want to get, because they do both sides. This particular station, and you can find them. They broadcast on YouTube as well. Why can't I find it? It's completely. has completely left my mind. Hold on. Oh, that is it. You can find them on YouTube, and it's called Channel 4 News, and they're doing a very good job of reporting on what's going on. They do both sides, and I think that's the fair thing to do. They do both sides. They're showing you what's going on in Israel, and they show you what's going on in Palestine, and they have a lot of good people on there that that understands what's going on. So if you want complete good news from both sides, you're not going to get that here in the United States. But I would suggest listening to them because they're covering both. That's what they're doing. So I'm gonna finish up by saying, if you want an idea of the start, you got to go way back in the biblical days to Sarah and Abraham. Read all of that. Come on up, stop at World War II, the ending of it, and find out their own state of Israel, all of that. Read up on all of that, and then bring yourself on up to current day where we are right now. And for those that give a lot of people a pretty good understanding of what is going on over there. And Tyrone, you're right. They hate one another because certain people that you ask, scholars and stuff, they the same people.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to go back and get an understanding of Abraham and Sarah. And that will kind of explain why they not the same people no more. And then bring yourself all the way up. But you're right. A lot of this stuff started back. Their fight, their war, their everything, back off some biblical, excuse my language, shit. And it's still going on in 2023, and I'm just upset and been so on watching the news and things like that, so upset what's going on with the Palestinians, because a lot of those people, that's women and children that are getting killed, and and Israel. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I hate conspiracy theories. But if it's left up to Netanyahu, he's going to flatten Palestine. And I just cannot understand why Hamas would do this, knowing that they cannot win this thing. Well, and what about the thought of your people, the women and the children? They're going to flatten them and wipe them off the earth, and they're going to have the whole world backing them in this, because that was an awful attack, that what they did on innocent people in Israel. And I know a lot of people is like, well, no, I stand with Hamas. I said, no, I don't stand with a goddamn body. I stand with the innocent people on both sides. That's who I stand with. This is an awful, awful thing. And if you're able to find people who are reporting both sides, you'll really get a good idea of how awful this thing is. And you're going to get a good idea that when Netanyahu and them get finished, it might not be a cat left standing up in the Gaza. That's all I got to say, Ron.
All right, yep. And I just found, and you guys can look it up, what Elisa was referring to. They created Israel in 1948. I'm going to say that one more time. Mm-hmm. They created Israel in 1948. Palestine already existed. They were still fighting over there and all that kind of stuff. But the idea that they created Israel in 1948 should tell people something. And because Israel was backed by Western countries, they had more firepower than the Palestinians. And I mean, it's just ridiculous. They're killing those people.
There you go.
Jay, what's up, man? You still on mute, brother? Jay, New York.
He might have took a break.
Oh.
But this whole thing is just crazy. And then you keep hearing talk that Iran, they might be war with Iran because they're backing Hamas. And people need to look into when Hamas came into power over in Palestine. And they won't allow the Egyptians to send in aid to the people. They got the electricity cut off and the water. They cut off the food. They cut off the supplies. You're just trying to kill everybody.
Yeah,
And you said that you kill everybody.
it's been the Jewish people or Israel that's been breaking all of those accords, you know,
Uh-huh.
and they've been the ones
Like
pushing Palestine back, all, and now they
back
only
and
exist
back and
until
back and back.
the Gaza Strip. And I know you
Uh-huh.
said why would Hamas do that, but if they
That,
ain't got no other choice, it seemed like these people was pushed
no,
back into a
no,
corner, and
I
you know
hear,
I don't agree with them
yeah,
doing
that,
it, but I don't know, you know that was crazy. I don't agree with them
I
killing
hear
people.
you. I don't agree. I condemn that attack that they did on innocent people and children. I condemn that. I do. I condemn that. Just killing people, innocents and stuff like that. And some of the videos that I saw, it was, oh Jesus, that attack that they did on them. The how Israel. This is the conspiracy theory part.
Mm-hmm.
How was Israel caught so off guard like this? And then I don't know if they call it prime minister, whoever it is, of Egypt. They said that they had contacted one of their ministers or whatever they call these people, talked with Netanyahu a month or two ago and said that Hamas was planning something, and y'all need to get your shit up. And then when Netanyahu was questioned about this, you know what he did? He pulled a page out of Trump's book. That's false news. That's false news. And then the Egyptian officials came out and said, no, it's not false news. And they went on ahead and gave, because first it was saying that high officials in their government said. And then when he said it's false news, and they was like, no, well, this is the person who spoke to him. And that's the question. Why was they caught off guard? They probably was caught off guard because a lot of the people who live in Israel want Netanyahu gone. And what's the quickest way to get people to rally back so you can be able to do what you want to do? War.
Yeah.
Because you remember how everybody rallied around George Bush after 9/11. I even rallied around him because I liked his speech. I was like, get it, George Bush, you know, after 9/11. So I don't know. It's just crazy how they allowed themselves to be caught off guard like this when they were warned.
Yeah, and it seems like to me. Hold on, Carl. I'm gonna get to you in a minute. It seems like to me the reason that Hamas took hostages is because they want to negotiate at some point. And I think they got some American hostages over there and all that kind of stuff. But those people seem like their back is against the wall. They started this war. They killed innocent people. They took hostages. And whenever you take hostage, that means you want to negotiate or something, you know. But who's this unknown caller?
Maybe, but those are dual citizens the Americans that they have. Those are dual citizens. They have dual citizenship in Israel and American. So they both. They're not just Americans. They have dual citizenship. I just wanted to add that.
Okay, who's this caller?
The president needs to correct all your misstatements and untruths.
Oh, what's up, Sarge? How you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
Wait a minute, can I ask Sarge correct whose misstatement?
Both you and Lyron.
I know both me. Okay, what did I misstate? You go ahead and tell it.
You know Sarge like to argue.
All right. Yeah, I'm not going to argue. I'm just going to give you a historical fact. It's well established. It's on the record. I ain't got to narrate. Just think about this thing. Now, narration comes in, but historical fact ought to be established first. Then you fill it in with narration. And historical facts are Palestine has never, in recorded human history, ever, not for 1 microsecond, ever been a nation. Not ever. It was part of the Persian Empire. Then it was part of the Roman Empire. Then it was part of the Ottoman Empire. Then it was the Ottoman Empire fell, was conquered by Britain. It became a British mandate. And then it was partitioned by UN after the British turned their mandate over the United Nations and asked them to settle it after the League of Nations had turned it over to them in 1921. So I'm just saying, Palestine has never been a nation. It has always been part of either Syria and Jordan. It has never, ever been a nation.
Okay.
Let's stop with that.
Okay, wait a minute. I never said that they were a nation.
I didn't say you did. I didn't say, but you get the impression that it was the Jews took it from them, and they didn't.
I didn't say. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I said.
All right. Well, if you did, I'm glad you. Okay, I'm glad you cleared that up. So now we have it cleared. It. You didn't say it, but I'm saying it. It was never a nation. It was always part of some other power. Now here's what happened.
Wait a minute. Let me just. Can I just finish? Can I finish? And then you can have the floor. I never said they were a nation. I gave people some biblical things to go back and check up to the end of World War II, when the United Nations declared Israel a nation. That's what I said. I said they have been fighting ever since. They say it belongs to them. The Jews say it doesn't belong to them. That's what they have been fighting about. Okay. I never said nobody was no nation.
Look, all right, well, I'm glad you made that clear, but I'd like to add this. As we all know, when it comes to nations and conquest, and this may be unfortunate, but there ain't never been more words that were truly spoken. Possession is 9/10 of the law, even more so in the case of nations. And the British were the ones who kicked the Turks, the Ottoman Turks, off of the Levant in Palestine. They defeated them in battle, and they assumed command of it as a mandate, because they were the conquerors of the Ottoman Empire who had declared war on Great Britain and the Entente powers, France, Russia, Great Britain. This is before the United States came into the war. And so they were at war with the Ottoman Empire. And then they had a strategy to go around the deadlock on the Western Front by invading Southern Europe through the Dardanelles. That's how they got there. They wanted to break. The Western Front was deadlocked and stalemate, and they went through the Southern Dardanelles and Gallipoli in order to do it. That's how they wound up in Palestine. And when they conquered all that territory and the Ottoman Empire collapsed,
hello?
Oh, your audio went out, Sarge. You still there? Hello? Can you hear me, Elisa?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I guess Sarge was telling so many lies, his phone went out.
Well, no, I didn't get into any of that. I just gave
Sarge like to come in here and try to make us look dumb. That's all he's trying to do.
And I told everybody, read all the stuff in between. I wasn't even going to get into that. I never said that the Palestinians, Palestine was a nation. I never said, and his first thing he said, I never said that.
Well,
I said, they said.
Well, Sarge, what you need to do is hang up and call back in, I guess, because nobody can hear you, brother. But while you do that, I want y'all to focus your attention to the screen. Now, in 1946, this area of land was occupied by the Palestinians. And because it was occupied by the Palestinians, they called it Palestine. Now, whether that was recognized by the UN or Great Britain or whoever the fuck, I don't know. But this is what it was called.
It wasn't.
Because
it wasn't recognized.
Because mostly Palestinian people live there. If I go to Georgia to Sarge's house, I'm going to call that Sarge's house because he lived there. These Palestinians lived in this area. And what I said was when the Jews came in, they started kicking the Palestinians out of the area that they was living in for goddamn centuries. Now, Sarge don't want to hear the truth, and that's what's been continuing until this day, until they pushed them all back up into the Gaza Bank, and now they trying to bomb them, and the United States and Israel is committing genocide. Sarge, you still on the line, brother, but I can't hear your audio. Let me mute you and unmute you and see if that works. Are you there? Well, I don't know what happened.
He just needs to hang up and call back.
Yeah, you just need to hang up and call back. But because Sarge want to be anal about it, like I said, I pulled this web page up for you guys, and it says it right here on May 14th. David Ben Gurion, the head of the Jewish agency, proclaimed the establishment of the Israel state. U.S. President Harry Truman recognized the new nation on the same day, And then although the United States
Exactly.
supported the Balfour Declaration in 1917, which favored the establishment of the Jewish national home in Palestine, they called it Palestine in the fucking agreement. President Franklin D. Roosevelt had assured that the Arabs, which they're talking about, the Palestinians, that the United States would not intervene without consulting both Jews, which is Israel, and the Arabs, which is the Palestine, in that religion, in that region. So they're called Palestinians. Sarge want to argue about fucking semantics or whatever the fuck, but we know that the Palestinians lived there before 1948 and they occupied that land mostly. And the motivation behind the Jewish trying to take that land is all in the damn Bible. That's why they wanted that land, because it's sacred. Supposedly, Jesus the Christ walked over there. And supposedly, I think this is the story. I don't know. I ain't into it. But I think that's where he's supposed to be bringing his ass back to one day. You know, so I think they want to be ready for him whenever he come back. They want to do whatever. I don't know what they doing. They want to be the one that are resurrected or whatever they call that whenever the time come. Whatever, and America want to be on the side of the people that's on Jesus' side. So that's all. These people are crazy. They believing in ghosts and spirits, and they fighting and killing each other over that damn doctrine, and they just murdering people. You know, now, like I said to you guys, it's weird to me that America wants Ukraine and Russia. They want Russia to give Ukraine back his land, right? And they want Ukraine to have all of its territory, but whenever it came to the Muslims, which is the Palestinians, and their land getting taken away from them, America is on the other side of the people that is taking the damn land. You know, and why is that? The only difference is, I think, because the Muslims have brown skin and the Ukrainians have European blood. I think that's the only difference, not unless it's the religion. You know, I don't know what else. America is supposed to be on the side of freedom and democracy, but they're not on the side of freedom and democracy when it comes to the Palestinian people. You know, they want to kill them, clearly, because they're siding with Israel.
It's a mess. The whole thing is just a mess.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole, all type of wormholes you could go down. Like Stars is bringing up about the Ottoman Empire and this and that. That's like I said, you have to go into it and study it yourself. You can't teach that here on this phone on a show on one night. You really can't.
No.
You start here and you tell them where the conflict first began. You take them to World War II when they got the land and when their state was recognized, and then you have to fill in all of the rest. You really do. You have to fill in all the rest. And it's a very hectic, it's a very crazy history. But like I said, some people will say that they're the same people.
Now, when you say that they're the same people, what do you mean by that? Are you saying the Jews and the Palestinian?
You have to get into the story of Sarah and Abraham to understand what I mean by that. And that's a long story about the baby and this one and this one left, and they said we own the land over here. This broke out. No, we don't. It's a whole story. That's why, because I was watching the news today, the Channel 4 news that I suggested people go listen to, and it was an Israeli woman. She was part of the ones that they're hoping was kidnapped and instead of killed, and she had been trying to work within Israel to see if they could, come together and work together, because these are our brothers and sisters. We're really all one people. And she's not the only person that I've heard say that. But you've got to get into the story of Abraham and Sarah to understand what I mean by that. And I mean, unless you want me to go read a whole book.
No, but Netanyahu, is his last name Yahoo? Whatever, Net, whoever the hell he is.
Netanyahu, that's right.
They're Christians, and they look at the Palestinians the same way they look at Iran, as like terrorists, dirt people. Hell, they even call them animals. And
Well,
that's just the way they look at them people. I don't think that.
Well, they're Jewish. They're
Yeah,
Jewish. They're not Christian.
who?
Same thing, but not they Judaism.
You talking about Israel? Yeah, I
So
call them Christians because it's a Judeo-Christian ideology. They
well,
acknowledge Jesus Christ, but they don't think he was a prophet or whatever. So you're right. They're Jewish. Their religion is Jewish. There is Jude or whatever the hell it is. But either way, both of them read the Bible. But they look at them as enemies. So even though, like you saying, the Arab woman is saying that they're the same people, I don't think that Christians or Jewish people look at Muslims as the same people because they have a different God. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah,
wait a minute. Where did I black out at? What was I saying when I last when the sound let off?
Hold on for a second. You was going in about establishing whether Palestinian was a state or whatever. But let Elisa finish and then you can finish. Go ahead, Elisa.
Well, yeah, because you missed a lot. Well, I thought y'all would be quiet. Let me finish for a change. But you heard what I just got to saying. I'll say it again though.
Yeah, we're gonna let. we was talking first, but let Elisa finish and then you can finish what you were saying, Sarge.
Yeah, he was filling in some of the stuff that I told people to go read about.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's such a big mess over there. But I found one Sarge after Sarge. I have it's not too long, of the story of Abraham, Sarah, and Hagar. And this will go into it a little bit more because a lot of this is in Genesis. But I think I found a very elementary way of explaining Sarah, Abraham, and Hagar. Now, Sarge, would you disagree with that part of the problem back with that?
No, that has to do with religious antecedents. And you know how it is when you argue about religion. It goes back and forth and back and forth. Look, I want to establish what's on the historical record. That's what I like to establish. And here's how. And I think the current focus of today's problems, and yes, it goes back over 2,000 years, about 3,000 years really, with the origination of the Israelite religion. That's where it goes back 3,000 years. I don't want to go back that far. I want to go back about 110, 120, back to the end of World War I, when the British, in an attempt to break the deadlock on the Western Front in World War I, invaded through southern Europe in the Balkans at Gallipoli. And that's what started that whole campaign in that region of the world, which brought the Ottoman Empire to ruin and defeat, coupled with the Arab revolt who were revolting against the Ottoman Empire, one of the provinces of which was Palestine. Those Arabs were rioting against the Ottoman Empire. And when the British came in, they equipped them and they had them. And of course, British being what they are, they lied to both sides. They lied to the Israelis, or the Jews, rather. They weren't Israelis at the time. They lied to the Jews. They lied to the Arabs. They tried to play both sides off against the middle. Yeah, we're going to back both of you up in this. You Arabs are going to have an independent land and all this other stuff. And it was all a big cynical game with the British. But that's neither here nor there. They did assume control of the region as a result of the mandate that was granted to them by the League of Nations, because they turned the whole thing over to the League of Nations, and the League of Nations turned over mandatory control of the British by agreement to the British Empire. And then it turned out to be a big headache for them because the Arabs and the Jews couldn't stop killing each other. They were engaging in all kinds of pogroms, and particularly the Arabs attacking the Jews because they outnumbered them so greatly. They were massacring Jews all over the place, and the Jews would be striking back. And it was a big headache for the British. The early British resistance, the Haganah and the ear gun, were shooting it out with British soldiers. They bombed the King David Hotel. They did all of that stuff. And the Arabs responded in kind. So the British just wanted to get rid of it. World War II provided them a reason to get rid of it. And they were able to turn it over to the League of Nations, and the League of Nations voted to partition Palestine into a Jewish nation and a Palestinian nation. And that's where the shit really started. Now you have the Israelis telling the Palestinians, hey, don't leave. You don't have to leave. If you want to stay here and be good citizens with us, we'll let you stay. But no, their Arab leaders were telling them, look, we're going to exterminate these Jews. We're going to kick them back into the sea. Don't you worry about a damn thing. You leave, and when we kill all these Jews, you can go back to your homes. Well, guess what? It didn't work out that way. The Jews won. And at the end of the day, they are all a bunch of displaced refugees wandering all around the Middle East. None of the other Arab countries are going to take them back in now. Remember, all of them are either citizens of Jordan, they're citizens of Syria, they're citizens of Egypt, or they're citizens of past Lebanon. Now, they're all one of those countries, or they're descended from people who were. But nonetheless, none of them are going to take them in. The Arabs are using them as a thorn in the side of Israel to stir up hatred and resentment and to try to formulate and form an alliance with all the Arab countries against the Jews in Israel, these Jews in their midst. That's why they wouldn't absorb all these Palestinians back into their original countries like the Germans did, with 6 million ethnic Germans roaming the roads of Europe, and they all got taken in by either Czechoslovakia, Hungary, Germany itself, or Poland. You had 6 million Germans all over after World War II, and they all got resettled. But not the Palestinians. The Arabs wanted to use those Palestinians, and that's what they did. And you know how the Jews got that land? Let me tell you how the Jews got that land. This is how they got that land, and it's so disputed. The Jewish immigrants in the late 19th century who formed the core of Zionism were being led there by a gentleman or a guy named Theodor Herzl and his fellow Zionists. They started buying up land from Arab landowners. Now, they would do it by either hooking up with a Jewish financial organization or joining a kibbutz. More than 70% of the land the Jews got was bought from large Arab landowners who were paid exorbitant prices for the land. Let me give you an example. They were paying $1,000 to $1,100 an acre for arid and semi-arid land in 1944. 1,000 acres. And you could get the most fertile soil in Iowa that would grow the best crops in the world for $110 an acre. And the other Arab leaders are upset with these Arab landowners for selling all their land to the Jews. But here's what happened. As a result of it, the total population of Palestine increased from just over 1 million in 1931 to more than 2 million in 1946. That was an 80% increase in 15 years. And during the 24 years of the British Mandate from 1922 to 1946, the population of Palestine increased more than 180%. Why did it increase? I'm going to tell you why. It was not by Jewish immigration. Most of it was Arab immigration. Where did those Arabs come from? They came from places that were attracted by the prosperity of the Jews. The Jews made the desert bloom. They made that arid soil fertile. They irrigated it. They grew crops. They created jobs. And Palestinians were coming from all over the region to get in on that prosperity. To give you an example of what it was, the Muslim infant mortality rate went from 199 deaths per 1,000 live births in 1923 to 91 in 1946, an increase in the average life expectancy of the typical Arab male from 37 years in 1926 to 49 years in 1943. And as a result, the Arab population increased 118% between 1922 and 1946. So you had all these Arabs coming there to the Palestine to take advantage of what the Jews had created in the desert. And that exacerbated the existing tension within the Jewish community because the Arab immigrants who came there were mainly poor and they couldn't afford land themselves. And that intensified their feelings of being dispossessed. And when the 1948 war broke out, guess what happened? All them Arab leaders told the Palestinians, get out of there so we can come in with our well-trained armies, the Arab Legion in Jordan, and the armies of Egypt, and all the other professional armies. We're going to crush these Jews. We're going to exterminate them. We're going to drive them into the sea, and then you can come back and take your homes back. Well, guess what? It didn't happen. And the Arab leaders let those Palestinians, rather than reabsorbing back into the original countries, whether it was Jordan, Syria, Egypt, or Lebanon, They let them stay there as a thorn in the Jews' side and fester, rather than reabsorbing them. And the Western powers didn't back the Jews, Tyrone. That's not true. They didn't have any. You look at their armament. They got all of their armament on the international arms market through arms financiers and weapons dealers.
Okay,
in fact, much of their equipment, I've looked at the documentaries. You can see it. Much of their weaponry is surplus German World War II weapons, MG-34s, MG-42s, Mauser 98K rifles, even Messerschmitt 109 fighters. They got it from surplus from the Czechs.
Okay,
they didn't get it from Great Britain and the United States.
Let me check.
That's not true.
Let me check this phone call. But if you look at the aircraft that they're flying, that came straight from America. If you look at those tanks
in 1948, that's not true.
Let me finish with what I'm saying. If you look at the tanks that they're driving, they're fucking American fucking tanks, Sarge. Goddamn.
In 1948, they got surplus Shermans from all over the world. You seem to forget. The United States sold 25,000 Sherman tanks all around the world to various countries during World War II.
Listen,
and they got a lot of them.
Okay,
they got a lot of them
tonight. What we're not going to do tonight is you're not going to talk over me, okay? So let's not do that. All you got to do is look at the current news and look at the tanks that Israel is fucking driving. Jesus,
I didn't say today. What did I just say? I said 1948.
God damn. Now,
you don't listen, do you?
Caller? Who's this unknown
I said 1948.
Who's this unknown caller?
Yo, Big OC, man.
Hey, what's up, Big OC? How you doing?
Chilling, man. Just tapped in. Hopefully we don't get bogged down in 1948.
Well, he is.
2023.
Sorry, let him get it out, man.
And we want to discuss, what's happening in 2023. And I just got one question for Sarge, just one question. And if you could honestly, truthfully answer it, I know you're always honest, so let me take that back. What should the Palestinians be doing to foster the idea of a two-state solution?
I tell you what they could have done a long time ago, and they chose not to do it. They could have completely acknowledged and recognized Israel as a sovereign state. What they needed to do is put aside their fanatical race hatred and ethnic religious hatred and turn Palestine, the Gaza Strip, into a tourist mecca. It's right there on the Mediterranean, some of the most beautiful beaches in the world. They could have turned Gaza into a tourist haven and got all kind of tourist money instead of this fanatical desire to kill Jews. That's what they could have done. Why didn't they do that?
That makes no sense.
What do you mean it makes no sense? It would be just like Saudi Arabia or Qatar. They got great beaches. It could have been a tourist mecca.
Wow. This is my next question, Sarge.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. This is my next question.
No, go ahead.
What could the Jewish people do to foster and bring to fruition a two-state solution? What could they do?
Right now, with the current attitude of the Gazans and the people on the West Bank who elected a Hamas government, let me remind you, they elected a Hamas government. As long as they have this attitude, I don't think there's anything that can be done until they forswear the ambitions of Hamas to destroy Israel. Nothing can be done until that is done.
Okay, so let everybody hear that the Jews clearly have done nothing wrong.
I didn't say that. Now, why did you ask me what they did wrong? And I would have told you.
Sarge, you got to wait.
Wait a minute. No, see, he just said I said they didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do that.
Okay, listen. You're going to have to correct him when he's done talking. People are listening on YouTube, so let him say what he got to say. Good Lord. Go ahead.
I'll start with this question, Sarge, and then you can go on with it. Are there Jewish people there in Israel that think that the Palestinians are lower than the shit under their shoe, and they'll be goddamned if there'll ever be a two-damn state? They'd love to wipe them the fuck off the map if they could. Do those people exist in Israel?
I am sure there are, but I do not believe that is true for most Israelis. And let me tell you another thing too, sir. You better look up your history. You better wait a minute. Hey, let me finish. Hey, let me finish. Hey, let me finish.
Come on, man.
Let me tell you why, nigga. Because I'm gonna tell you what the rest of the Arabs look like for the Palestinians. They went to Jordan in 1970 when the Israelis kicked them out of Palestine after the 6-Day War. They went to Jordan, and guess what? King Hussein of Jordan welcomed them into his country as fellow Muslims needing refuge. You know what them low-down, no-good motherfuckers tried to do in the PLO? They tried to overthrow his kingdom. He had to go to war against them. He killed 4,000 of them sorry bastards and had to kick them out of his country. The Arabs don't want him either. They did the same thing in Lebanon.
Okay, you're going on. Last question. Do you believe...
No, that's history. That's history, goddammit. Read it.
Sarge, can you please calm down, brother? Like, calm down.
Do you believe...
Well, this mother go ask me how do I know. I tell you, because I can read, you goddamn idiot. I can read. Maybe you ought to learn how to read.
Do you believe the current people over there in that land, Sarge, have a biblical right to that land?
They got a right to it because they defeated their enemy, and that's how they get it. That's how every country is made.
Okay. Oh, okay.
That's it. I'm sorry whether you like it or not. We're about ready to lose our country to illegal aliens.
All right.
Stop being so stupid and read a book.
All right. Come back.
All right, so what we're going to do... Okay, stop. What we're going to do is we're going to let Elisa go, but let me share this with you guys right quick. When Big OC asks Sarge about how they feel about the Palestinians, here's a headline from Morocco World News. The Israel defense minister calls Palestinians human animals amid the Israeli aggression. So yes, they do think that they're lower than the dirt below their shoes and all that kind of stuff. So the Israelis do look at the Palestinians in that way. So Elisa, you go, and then Sister Ottawa, you can go right after Elisa. Go ahead, Elisa.
Yeah, I was just gonna say some things that when Sarge was breaking it down, like I said from the very beginning, a lot of fighting went on. You had to really get knee deep into that. But one thing that was left out, the Jewish people, they were offered in the beginning before they decided on over in that hotbed, that mess over there. They were given other proposals of other places to go, but they chose to go down in that hotbed. And that's the part that goes all the way back, the religious shit as it relates to Sarah and Abraham. They were offered other opportunities. Not opportunity, they were offered other places. I don't know if the UN there was a lot of colonialism going on, but they were offered other proposals, other ideas of other places.
Argentina.
Uganda.
Hold on, let her get finished, guys. Hold on.
And they were offered other places to go. But they chose, and whether the UN had the right to be offering them shit in Uganda and Kenya, not going to speak for Argentina, but they were offered other places to go, and they chose to go. They chose to set their. And I'm not being critical of them. I'm not taking no sides, but they chose to take that shit down over in that hotbed, over in that hotbed with all that mess that goes way back to biblical times. So that has to be said.
Okay.
That's all I wanted to add.
So let me, hey, Sister Ottawa, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hey, I just wanted to make just a couple of comments. First of all, the area that you're speaking of has always been Northeast Africa. The term Middle East didn't come about until the mid-60s. And what we're looking at are a people who have been there for thousands of years being displaced. As you said, Israel was declared a state in 1948, but if you go to the United Nations, you will see that 138 countries support the state of Palestine. Now, that is a derogatory term, Palestine. The ancient term is Philistine.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And, yeah, it's like calling them niggas, you know, which they, you know, it was the African, that area was an African, that was the northeast portion of Africa. The Red Sea, on the other side, you got the Indian Ocean, you had the Mediterranean.
And the Persian Gulf.
I'm gonna pull it. Yes, all of that was Africa. There were dark people. And I don't care where you go in the world, the dark people who are most connected to the land are the ones that's catching the most hell. And so that's my contribution to the conversation.
All right, well, thank you. Well, I just pulled up a map, y'all, and what Sister Ottawa is talking about, I guess the divide was over around Iraq. Well, probably Iran was probably included in that Northeast Africa stuff. So yeah, I mean that's probably why they you know they trying to get rid of those Palestinians. I forgot what you said, call them again. But they trying to get rid of those people. They trying to whack those people off the face of the earth, and they want Israel, and not a dark skull pigmented Israel. They want a white Israel over
that's
there.
Right.
So that's what's going on.
Now let me just add one thing. The history talks about the Silk Road, which was an area of trade. And that area is, if I'm not mistaken, I hope somebody can call and confirm it or straighten it out. That Silk Road went right through Egypt, then you had where they built that Suez Canal, it went straight through there. So that was a strategic move to establish Israel. Where they placed it, it was a strategic route for trade and commerce. And if you look up the Silk Road, you will see that it was big money. Everybody was coming through there to trade. So, I mean, you know, I don't know. Maybe I have something else to add.
Yeah, either way, what's going on over there is terrible. And, you know, Sarge want to talk about the accords and the agreements and all that kind of stuff. But there's history that has caused this divide. And I think both sides at this point in time shouldn't be killing each other based off of, you know, ancient.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, it's not ancient, though. The original partition plan the UN did was a two-state solution. They were going to have and by the way, at the time they originally made a two-part petition, no Arab leader, not one of them, demanded the creation of a Palestinian state because at any time during the UN debates, the Palestinians had no sense of being a nationalistic country, none whatsoever.
Okay, so
no
hold on. Let me pause you there. And listen, Sarge, this makes sense what you just said. He said that not one of the Palestinians called for a Palestinian state, right? But let me pull up this map one more time. They occupied the territory. That is being like me being in my house and say, I want to call this Tyrone's house. I already know it's my motherfucking house because I live here. So if you Palestinian and you living in that area, why the hell should you have to go make an agreement to say my people live here? That don't make no sense, Sarge. The Jewish people are the invaders, and they're the one that tried to separate those people or are separating those people over there. So Sarge, you can't.
Tyrone, listen, Tyrone. I know it's gonna be hard for you to understand, but it was an agreement among the guess what? United Nations. The nations were trying to figure out what to do with the British mandate. But Palestinians were not a nation. They were not a nation. This is my point.
Was it moral?
I'll get to that in a minute. I'll get to that in a minute. Hey, Negro, you don't tell me what to say. You can wait and listen, and I will address it. Well, you don't know shit. You ought to shut up and learn something.
Calm down.
You idiot. You ought to learn something first. You don't know a damn thing.
Okay, calm down now.
All right, one more time. Again, Palestine, and you're full of shit. The Palestinians were not a nation. The United Nations were trying to figure out an agreement. They were asking the nations that existed, the Arab nations, to weigh in on what should be done. And the Arab nations all rejected the United Nations two-state solution. None of them accepted.
Well, let me just ask you a question, Sarge. You talked about was the Jews that you recognize in the Jews. When did they become a nation? And where did they dwell before they went into Palestine?
Okay, again.
Where did they come from?
Again, the whole thing got started. Now, many of them they were natives who were born in the region. They were citizens of the Ottoman Empire, and subsequently they came under British control when the Ottoman Empire was defeated. Yes, it is. There were Jews living there before the Zionists came. Wait a minute. There were Jews. Wait a minute. There were Jews. There were Jews who lived there before the Ottoman Empire collapsed.
What the fuck?
Even Netanyahu.
I swear to God. Here we go again. Okay, the Ottoman.
From that area, he came from Tel Aviv, and not only
for God's sake,
he lived in the United States, where he was educated, and then when they established the state of Israel in 1948, he relocated there. So what you're saying is not true. The Jews were not indigenous in that area.
Yes, they were
indigenous in that area.
Yes, they were. They were a minority. They were a minority.
Okay, so can we have a conversation?
That area.
They were a minority, but they were there. They were a minority, but they were there.
Not only that, to add
for Christ's sake.
Ralph Bunche is the one that announced Israel being a state in 1948. Am I wrong?
China?
Wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
What does that got to do with them settling the problem in Palestine? Yeah, he was one of the brokers, just like other people were.
He wasn't no broker.
Yes, he was. He was the United Nations General Secretary from the United States. He was appointed by the United States to the position.
If you use the term broker, it has a different kind of meaning.
He was appointed by the United States government to be there at the UN.
Okay, well, right now, 138 countries that are part of the 192 countries in the United Nations, 138 of those countries support Palestinians.
Okay, one more time.
So what do you say about that?
There were Jews living there. They were a minority. They weren't most of the people there. Yes, they were. They lived there. But now, wait a minute. Most of the people who created Israel immigrated there after that period.
And just like they don't want to say in the United States, African people or Negroes in America is not a nation.
Most of the people who formed the state of Israel, I'm not going to get sidetracked here. Most of the people who formed the state of Israel immigrated there after the Ottoman period, from the late 19th century.
They needed some place to go.
They started coming in the late 19th century.
Those people in that area, because of the strategic,
they bought the land. They didn't displace anybody.
It's an important area. You can.
They bought the land.
For any nation, that area is the strategic area.
They bought the land. They didn't displace anybody. They bought it. They sold it to them. It was worthless land. Nobody wanted it because you couldn't make anything grow in it.
when these so-called founding fathers came in here and took the land, then they tell them that they didn't have no rights to the land, and they have generations and
okay, well, for you to say there were no Jews over there.
Let me say this right here, Sister Ottawa and Sarge. Listen, guys. Listen, the Jewish migration started in the 1800s. Now, what does that mean? That means that there was Palestinians already living there. And it says that the first wave of Jews came, they call it the first Aliyah.
Aliyah.
So and then that was in the 1800s, and then the second Aliyah came in World War II, and then the third Aliyah came after came to Israel. This group was also from Russia. So what we're saying is that the Jews are not original people in that area, Sarge. They migrated there. Do you understand that?
Tell me something. When the Maccabees, the Maccabee Jews who made the revolt in the temple against Rome, who the hell were those people who revolted against Rome during the Maccabee revolt that the Romans put down? They were Jews.
You're not listening.
You're not listening to me. That was 166. That was 166 BC. The Jewish Maccabean revolt against restrictions on the practice of Judaism and the desecration of the temple. Jews did that. They were minority in the area, but they were there.
Okay, so I want to take you guys to a map right now, right? So if you look at Egypt,
no ladies ignore what I just said.
Wait, listen. I want everybody to pay attention.
They were Jews.
Shut up. I want everybody to pay attention. If you look at Egypt and Cairo, those are Muslims. If you look at Saudi Arabia, Muslims. If you look at Iraq, Muslims. If you look at Syria, Muslims. If you look at Jordan, Lebanon, Muslims. How the fuck is they just Jews right there in the middle of all of that, Sarge? Those were fucking Muslims over there. And the Jews,
one more time.
Shut the fuck up, nigga.
Tyrone.
Shut the fuck up. Let me finish teaching my class. And how the hell did all of a sudden, out of all of them lands filled with fucking Muslims, did these damn Christian goddamn Jews or Judeo-Jews show the fuck up in the middle of that fucking area, Sarge? They migrated there.
Okay.
They migrated there.
One more time. When the Jews revolted against Rome in 66 AD, when they destroyed the Second Temple in Jerusalem in 70 AD, and when the Jews made the last stand at Masada in 73 AD, who the fuck you think did that? Okay. Jews, you goddamn idiot!
Okay, and just look at a map.
The Jews were there!
Look at a map. That's all I'm going to tell you. Look at a map.
You're not listening to anything I say. I'm going back in ancient history and you're ignoring it.
The only place in that area that's got fucking Jews is motherfucking Israel, Sarge. That's some bullshit.
See, one more time. I just spoke to history that is well known, and you're utterly ignoring it. Sister Ottawa said there were no Jews there. I said there were. They were a minority, but they were there.
No, that started in the 1800s. I acknowledge it in the 1800s. Oh, no,
That's the racial group.
Go ahead, let Elisa go.
Not Jews.
Go ahead, Elisa.
Hey, Tyrone. It's like you went through all of those countries surrounding that little bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Just like I said, they chose to go in their hotbed.
Mm-hmm.
They chose to go right down there and make their state. When it was recognized from UN to make their state down there in their hotbed, all surrounded by all those Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
You tell me if that don't make sense. That don't make sense.
Yeah, sorry, they just didn't show up. They migrated there, brother. I mean, there's a history there, man.
Wait a minute. Now, see, you always cut me off. I can finish my goddamn point.
Okay, go ahead.
But I was about to say the greatest percentage of the Jews that formed the state of Israel were Zionists who came there in the 19th century. You're right about that.
Okay.
But when I hear people tell me there weren't any Jews there before that, I know that isn't true. That was a cosmopolitan, multicultural ethnic region. And Jews were certainly there.
So let me say this right here. Sarge is correct. That was not quarantined off as a Palestinian state by the Europeans. But if you're the people living in that area and you're Palestinian, then why the fuck would you need the fucking Europe to tell you that your people live in this goddamn area? They occupied the fucking area. Jesus Christ.
Tyrone.
The Jews did not run them out of Palestine. The Arab leaders told them to leave. The Arabs told them to leave.
Okay, so let Big OC go, and then I got your line open, Mama's. Was that Mama's boy?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay.
What up, Mama's boy? The Palestinians, the motherfucking Jews came to that spot where the Palestinians were already chilling. Sarge already told you they got their asses whooped by whoever the fuck whooped their ass. That's why they lost the land. Period.
No, that's not why they lost land. The Jews didn't kick them off land. The Arab leaders told them to leave. No, he made that up. I didn't say that. The Arab leaders told them to get out of the way. Get your lying bastard. The Arab leaders told them to get off of the land because our armies are coming there to get the Jews out and push them into the sea. That's why they wanted the Arab brothers to get out of the way so they could destroy the Jews. The Jews told them, you can stay. You don't have to leave. They made public announcements. I'll read you what they said. The newspapers at the time, what they told the people to do. Okay. And they ignored it.
Okay, Sarge, you're going to have to calm down. And Donald
why are you listening to these stupid people who don't know a motherfucking thing about history?
Okay, we're just having a conversation, and Donald Trump is on the side of Hamas, so I don't know why you going crazy over the Jew. Donald Trump is supporting Hamas. What's going on, Mama?
Look, man, I'm for the United States. I ain't for Israel. I'm for the United States. Whatever's in our best interest is what I'm concerned about. But goddamn it, I don't want people making up no shit about history.
Go ahead, Mama's boy.
All right. Well, I was just chiming in to agree with Sister Lisa. It is the most strategic spot on the planet if you're the United States and you deal in trade, because right up the block is the Aswan Dam. And if you don't use the Aswan Dam, then you got to go all the way around Africa to go to Asia. So you're right, sis. And it's kind of convenient how the connection to America is right there at the door of the Aswan Dam.
Bingo. That's why they went down there in that hotbed.
Yeah, I mean, them people wasn't there originally. We see who was there. You can just look at a map and see who was there. When Sarah said the Jews was already there, that's just bullshit. That is just bullshit.
No. See, this is what I get about you, man. I didn't say that either. I said there was a Jewish presence, a substantial minority Jewish presence in that region, in ancient history, going back 2,000 years and more.
Okay, well, yeah, that's bullshit.
That's what I said.
They were. They were. From my understanding, I'm not trying to get knee deep into this. From my understanding, yes, they were there. Some of them were there.
Well, I mean, it was probably missionaries or something, but Sarge himself even said the Ottoman Empire took over that area, and those were fucking Muslims. Wait
a minute. But the Ottoman Empire was fairly tolerant when it came to us. As long as you paid the jizya.
Listen, there's one thing that the Ottoman Empire wasn't, and that was tolerant of shit. So
okay.
You lied.
No, wait a minute now. The Ottoman Empire mainly wanted the jizya, which was the tax they paid on non-Muslims.
You ever heard of Genghis Khan?
He wasn't a Muslim. Genghis Khan wasn't a Muslim. What are you talking about?
Wasn't he a leader of the Ottomans?
No, he's a Mongol. God damn it!
I got it wrong. You right.
You damn right you did. All right. Well, look. Let me get my point, please. All right. Look, the Ottoman Empire was a multicultural, multi-ethnic empire. And as long as people were paying a tax and didn't slander the name of the Prophet Muhammad, they would allow them to stay where they were.
Whatever.
I mean, they were conquerors. They weren't exterminators. They were ruthless. They were brutal, but they weren't exterminators. They didn't want to exterminate the Jews. So they let them stay there and stay in their ethnic enclaves and pay the tax. And they let them alone for the most part, as long as they did that.
Yeah, we're talking about the Turks. Okay, yeah, I got you.
Yeah, the Turks.
Yeah, they was the head chopper office. They weren't tolerant of shit. You full of shit, Sarge. Those people was vicious.
Look, they weren't like us. Hell no, I didn't say that. I said that they didn't run the Jews out.
Okay, whatever.
In fact,
Okay,
Since
you
Jews
rewriting
had
history, you
skills,
confusing people. Man.
I'm not rewriting. Oh man, you're the one rewriting history. Jews had skills that many of the Ottoman empires could use. Jews were often advisors to the Ottoman thrones. There'd be advisors and counselors and everything else.
Okay, we can say all this right here, but the map proves that everybody in that area was Muslim except for fucking Israel. That's just a fact. I don't know what the fuck else to tell you, sorry.
Israel didn't exist after the destruction of the Second Temple in 70 AD.
And so there was Muslims there, nigga.
But they were Jews too. They didn't disappear.
Oh, God damn it.
They just one nation anymore. The kingdom of Judea and the kingdom of Israel were not united anymore. They had split before that. They were two separate kingdoms.
You know, it makes it difficult to talk about this stuff because you all are incorporating the Bible, which is a fictitious book.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I tried to avoid. That's why I tried to avoid a religious discussion.
Well, they're making their decisions off of that book, Sister Ottawa.
Well, wait a minute. That is why I tried to avoid a religious discussion, and I wanted to go back no more than 100 years. Because this all didn't come about until the British defeated the Ottoman Empire. That's when the current mess started.
You can't go back. You got to incorporate the whole thing, Sarge.
You can't.
It makes it simpler to talk about it.
It is more simpler, but you can't dismiss the religious aspect.
I'm not dismissing it.
No,
I'm not dismissing it.
I'm just saying. I was thinking to Lady Ottawa. You can't dismiss the religious aspect of it because it does play a role. The Bible
yes, it does.
Book,
but it also tends to obfuscate the history.
Of a lie. It's the maintenance of a lie. Okay. That's
what I mean. That's why when we talk about religion, this is what we've devolved into. We know what happened historically. We know it. We know about the United Nations and the partition and the mandate. We know about the League of Nations. We know what happened when General Allenby marched into Jerusalem. We know these things. You can argue about religion till the cows come home.
No, we don't argue about religion. We're saying that they're making their decisions based off of that doctrine, man. And that's just...
No, they're making the decisions based on conquest and who's going to prevail on the field of battle. That's the way it all went down. Who prevails on the field of battle?
Oh, God. No, that's not true.
That's the way it wound up in the end. The Arabs were rioting. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me finish. The Arabs were rioting. The Jews were fighting back. They were fighting against the British. They were fighting against the Arabs. The Arabs were killing the Jews. They were rioting against the British. It was all about fighting in between 1921 and 1946.
Okay, but each side saying that each side should be wiped off the face of the earth because of their doctrine, man.
Yes. That's the point I'm trying to make.
That's a fact.
It was about who's going to prevail. That's the point. Who's going to prevail on the field of battle? That's what it always comes down to.
Okay, sorry.
No, is it a fair fight? Is it a fair fight?
No.
Is it a fair fight?
Yeah, no, because the Arabs were outnumbered 8-1. The Israelis were outnumbered 8-1. It wasn't a fair fight in 1948. You stupid cocksucker! Read a fucking book.
Okay.
You dumb bastard. That's why you don't know a goddamn thing.
Unless you want me to believe the Palestinians.
You idiocy ass motherfucker. Read a book. Stupid ass, willfully dumb nigga. Shut up.
Okay. Y'all gonna have to calm down now.
I see motherfuckers in flip flops and a goddamn bulldozer running through a fence.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Gaza is getting bombed and innocent people are dying, and Israel is the cause of all this carnage. Of course, there was a terrorist attack on Israel, and that should not have happened, but they should be more strategic about going after Hamas than just bombing innocent people. That is not right.
Yeah, and Israel has got a lot of experience in fighting in urban. Remember that phrase that when you're in the army, when the dim pass, they call it MOUT? Military operations in urban terrain. Do you have any idea what has to be done there?
No, but
it's going to be like Stalingrad.
Hold on, Sarge.
It's going to be like Stalingrad, man.
Okay, but listen, Sarge. I heard in the news that the average age of the Gaza population is 18 years old. You don't have to cause that goddamn carnage to a group of people that you, whenever they men get old, you already killing them. So I mean, these people are just killing people for no goddamn reason. They're trying to wipe them off the fucking earth.
The most fanatical soldiers in the Battle of Berlin were 16-year-old Hitler youth.
Okay, so now
They
you're,
put up
now
one
you're,
hell
now
of a
you're for
fight.
killing teenagers. Now you're for
And I got
murdering
news for you. Yeah, but when they carry Panzerfaust and bazookas, you fucking ain't right.
This is stupid.
You're damn right. When they're destroying your tanks right and left, you're damn right you do.
Okay, so you're for murdering teenagers that don't have access like the West do to tanks, airplanes, and fucking missiles. You don't. You're full of shit. You know that the Palestinians don't have that, and they're just killing them people for no damn reason.
I'm gonna tell you one more time. I'm gonna
quote Alan Dershowitz: "It's collateral damage when it's on that side, Sarge, or Tyrone."
Look.
It's collateral damage.
It's
on the Israel side, it's a travesty.
So let me see. They launched an attack.
It's collateral damage, Tyrone.
Hamas launches an attack on Israel that proportionately to the United States kills 35,000 of their citizens if it happened to us.
We ain't talking about proportion. Talking about how many they killed.
All right,
it was
okay.
around 200.
So listen up. What do you mean 200? It was at least 800, at least.
No, it was
maybe
200.
1,000.
Go ahead.
You're a liar. That was at the music festival. Music festival was 261.
Okay, go ahead.
At the music festival, it was 261. All right, so again, look. It's no sovereign nation on earth is going to tolerate an attack like that and have the capability to strike back and not strike back almost immediately, just like the United States did.
They should strike back. You're misunderstanding me. I'm not saying that they shouldn't strike back, but they should be strategic and not just carpet bomb the whole fucking area when they push those people into that area any damn way. Shut up. Listen, let me talk. I heard what you said. Listen, they call Gaza the biggest open air prison for a damn reason, because the Israelis push these people into this area, cut off fucking resources, don't let them get out. They guard the area like crazy, and then whenever they're up under all this pressure and oppression, and then they strike out and they did a terrorist attack, right? And then they grab some hostages. Maybe they was wanting to negotiate. I don't know. But you got to understand that those people been up under pressure from Israel for a long time. And I'm saying Israel shouldn't just wipe the fucking area clean like they're doing. That's just bullshit.
Okay, General Tyrone, how should they approach the matter strategically? Let me hear your take.
Well, they should find out the members of Hamas. They got the technology to identify those people just like the United States identify terrorists, and we make strategic strikes and kill individuals without killing fucking civilians.
Tyrone, let me explain something to you, sir. Let me explain something. Let me respond to him, please, because he's totally misunderstands the situation. Tyrone, let me explain something to you. They are past that now. They've already identified the fortified, dug-in positions that Hamas fighters are occupying. They're going to have to wrench them out. There is no worse fighting in the world than to fight in a city.
Okay,
ask the people who fought at Stalingrad, ask the people who fought at Wei, ask the people who fought at Fallujah, ask the people who fought at Monte Cassino. There is no worse terrain on which to fight than when your enemy is fortified in a city.
So hold on. Let me respond to this. Sorry, I got you on mute for 1 second. Hold on, Big OC. Hamas don't own M1 tanks. Hamas don't own armored vehicles. Hamas don't own goddamn airplanes and jets and all that kind of bullshit, right? A certain limit of munitions Hamas has, and that's what they use. For God's sakes, they flew in on para-fucking gliders. Para-fucking gliders. A civilian entertainment form of fucking flying. They flew in on paragliders to do their terrorist attack. So they don't own the type of weaponry that Israel have. And if you said that they identified the terrorist hotspot, get their ass in that tank and go in there and get rid of the goddamn hotspot. You don't have to blow up whole fucking buildings with fucking families in them, Sarge. That's just bullshit. But go ahead, go ahead.
Tyrone, do you know what a force multiplier is, Tyrone? Do you have any idea what that is?
I'm trying to get in all that.
Yeah, I know you're not. You just say some shit and don't expect me to respond to it.
Okay, Elisa,
that's why you're full of shit.
Elisa, hold on. Elisa, and then Big OC, and then who's this unknown caller?
Big J, finally.
All right,
Okay.
Big O,
Sound like
Big
you
J,
would.
you go after Big OC. Go ahead, Elisa.
Okay, I just wanted to add. So, okay, I know it seems like I'm on Sarge's side a little bit, but that was a great example that he brought up, the Battle of Stalingrad, because that was an urban battle. But I have to say, because like they said, they're going to send in ground troops. The problem when I hear, like, if you bring up Stalingrad, that battle was so bloody, and the loss of life with that battle, and it only and really one of the main reasons that the Soviets won that battle because they had plenty of people. If they lose a bunch, they had plenty of people to refurbish what they lost. The Germans didn't, because that was such a bloody battle. But it was a good point, though. That's all I want to say.
Well, but here's the thing, though. The Germans were not
Sorry,
able.
it's not your turn. It's not your turn. It's Big OC turn, and then it's Big J turn.
You know, Big OC? You know, when you know, when you look over there and you look at the newspapers, you read the papers over there, and you read some of the authors, and you actually try to follow some of the Jewish reporters and historians that give you actual truth about it without a bias and without a slant, right? You know, they all, you know, all them old Jewish people all pretty much got a lot of the same history, right? But some of them can look at the shit, you know, logically and say, you know, fuck, we done did a lot. We're claiming to be here because a Bible tells us this is where we should be, but it also says thou shalt not kill, and you got a whole group of people fucked off on your borders, and you want to continue building over and on top of these people if you can. So I always sit back and I'm saying, where's the Palestinian story? I understand that America, everybody got to be for Israel, but can anybody be for fucking humanity? It is what I'm looking at. And what I do understand is Israel, if you look at the news, they gearing up, acting like they ready to go in there, you know, on the ground. But what I believe is Israel always been on some pussy shit. They're not trying to go in there on that ground because I believe they know them Hamas fighters. They're going to have to fight them underground and shit like that in tunnels, and they know they're going to lose lives. And what they don't want to do is lose lives. That's why they rather just level the place. And America is already sitting that over there. I want to say, if anybody else heard Lindsey Graham say that they need to just level the place.
Well, they're bumping the shit out of them right now, but let Big J go. Go ahead, Big J.
Okay, let me tell you what needs to happen. First of all, Israel needs a constitution. That's number one. Because first of all, because the reason I'm saying it is because the reason why I'm saying it, because how can you have a country without a constitution? Then though you have Benjamin Netanyahu, who's been in office ever since I was a grown man. There's no term limits on that. No. Let's really knock this out, because I'm gonna go to a place that nobody else has brought up yet. Benjamin Netanyahu been in power long as I have been an adult. There's a problem with that. Then there's a problem with that corruption trial he's supposed to be having last year. How come people overlooking that? Then though, off the presses, Egyptians, the Egyptians just said a couple weeks ago they was warning the Israelis what's about to happen. So if Israel was warned what's about to happen, why didn't they prevent what occurred? Does anybody sit there and actually think about what Benjamin Netanyahu was doing? He's a danger to world peace.
Yep.
And I don't give a damn what Matt Hagee, and John Hagee, those preachers who go around talking about doomsday coming because of the Judeo-Christian prophecy. No. We got to get rid of. Got to make sure when this shit's all over with, make sure the Palestinians are declared their own state. Make sure you force the Israelis to have a constitution so they can have a term limit, and make sure their Supreme Court is staying up. Because this whole war is to make sure Benjamin Netanyahu can stay in power. That's what I'm saying.
Boom. I said that, Tyrone.
Yeah.
Thank you, Big J. I said that earlier. Boom. There you go.
All right. So
that's what needs to happen. And I'm gonna say something. And I'm gonna say something too. We got to dismantle the evangelical churches in America. But they're the ones pumping up this bullshit up. We got to get rid of these evangelical communities.
Hey,
they're the ones funding this crap.
Netanyahu got a little opposition though, even now with this shit going on, and they watching him to see what he's doing because they he almost out of there anyway. He barely got that little government together, and it's powerless basically, right? Yeah. So like he's being watched like a hawk over this shit. That's the reason why he brought that the leader of the other party in. Said they was gonna do some unity shit because he didn't have the gusto no more to get it all done by himself. That's just my opinion.
No, get rid of on some purer shit. That's what he's on. Some purer.
And I'm gonna say something too. You can get rid of that punk ass senior senator from the state of South Carolina. Get rid of his warmongering ass.
Oh yeah.
Always talking about he want to bomb this country and bomb this country. No, we need to leave people alone. We got too many problems over here.
I agree with that.
And I'm gonna say something too, because I know Sarge is on here. So let me say this straight up. Everybody want to talk about. I know. I'm about to go live it off the beaten path on this. Everybody want to talk about the migrants in fucking ass in Chicago, and New York, and woo. No. The governor of Texas and the governor of Florida should be charged with kidnapping by deception. Because you don't lie to those Venezuelans, because they're not Mexicans. I know a Mexican when I see a Mexican. Those are not Mexicans coming across the border. Those are Venezuelans and fucking Colombians and shit. You don't take people on the bus, tell them, we will take you to a place where there's more jobs for you, to those saturated cities. No, that's kidnapping by deception. There needs to be articles of impeachment filed. And the Democratic Party, y'all punk ass bitches too, because y'all won't stand up for what's right. I'm done.
All right. This is what I'm gonna try to do. Sarge, you can go next, but this is what I'm trying to do. On television, they're showing little snippets of Israeli military, and I want y'all to see the Humvees. I want y'all to see the M1 tanks. I want y'all to see the troop carriers. All of that shit is American equipment that the Israelis own, and I'm telling you, the Palestinians or the people in the Gaza Strip don't have equipment like that. And it's a damn shame that they've got to go to that extreme to kill all of these people with the westernized military equipment. And this is a genocide, guys. We're watching it firsthand, and the United States is right here, hand in hand with Israel, as they wipe a fucking population off the face of the goddamn earth. We're watching it. This is what's going on.
Then I want y'all to look at the Palestinians who got trash can lids in the front and in the back, and broomsticks sharpened at the tip, and kitchen knives, and bleach in bottles and shit.
Yeah, and Sarge is trying to say it's equal pushback. It's not. It's like a sophisticated nation trying to fight like ancient people because they got brooms and sticks and trash can legs against fucking M1 tanks.
But I'm gonna tell you something, Tyrone.
I didn't say that, Tyrone.
I'll tell you something, Tyrone. I watched about 4 dudes on the back of a truck with a 50 cal mounted on the back of the truck take over a town's police station. They so sophisticated. Where the fuck was it? Because them
I
jokers
just said they flew in on fucking paragliders. They didn't have no planes. They used fucking gliders, a civilian entertainment way of flying. That's what the hell they used. And people was all, ooh, they use paragliders. Yeah, they fucking paragliders, you motherfuckers. That your damn jets can take them out in no time.
Are you gonna let me respond to what you said with that crap a minute ago?
Well, go ahead, brother.
All right, let me explain something to you, Tyrone. First of all, anytime you're going into an urban environment against a determined enemy, even if that enemy is not as well equipped as you, the nature of city terrain means that the terrain itself is a force multiplier. The rubble is a force multiplier. The very rubble, when you flatten all them buildings and it turns into rubble, it provides an infinite number of hiding places from which to engage the troops as they advance. Any commander will tell you the biggest nightmare for any commander is to fight in a city. Wherever you can, you try to avoid fighting in a city. You bypass it and starve it out if you can. Because there's nothing good, even if you're going to win, even if you have an overwhelming superiority in firepower, you're going to take a lot of casualties. It's going to be block by block, house by house. It always is. It doesn't matter that the Israelis have more firepower and better equipment. The city itself is a force multiplier to anyone who knows a single goddamn thing about tactics and strategy. And they are certainly well equipped enough to make it bloody, bloody, bloody for the Israelis going in there if they don't use one hell of a lot of artillery and airstrikes.
So go ahead.
You kill them all then. You kill every fucking soul in that goddamn Gaza Strip then. That's
okay, now see, I didn't say that either.
Well,
now why don't you let me finish? Then let me respond to that.
Shut up. They are flattening buildings with families in them, Sarge.
Well, there ain't no military solution there.
Then let me respond to that then. All right. Now, if they are doing as you say they will be doing, that they are deliberately exterminating civilians to no military purpose other than just, then I'm going to have to agree with you and say the Israelis need to be reined in. But look, here's what. Wait a minute. Let me finish. This is what the Fourth Geneva Convention, relative to the protection of civilian persons in time of war, Part 3, Article 1, Section 28 says. This is from the Geneva Conventions now, the one they negotiated after the Korean War. The presence of a protected person, also known as a civilian non-combatant, may not be used to render certain points or areas immune from military operations. They are using their civilian population as a shield. You know they are. And if they do that, that means yes, they are. And if they do that, that means those civilians are going to get unnecessarily killed because these bastards in Hamas are using them to protect themselves from Israeli direct fire.
Okay, so hush for a minute.
Anybody saying nothing?
Oh, I'm sorry. This is what I showed earlier. This is what I showed Sar earlier. So, and he wants to argue with me. The Israel defense minister called Palestinians human animals amid the Israeli aggression. Right. So it goes on down to say the Israeli defense minister, whoever his fucking name is, sparked frustration amid the already fragile situation due to the continued Israeli aggression targeting Palestinian civilians, right? The defense minister and the resistant movement of Hamas are human animals. We are fighting human animals. We are acting accordingly, he said, emphasizing, and then this is what is important. He also announced the Palestinians will be deprived of food, electricity, and fuel. Everything is
Water.
closed. So I mean, Sarge, he's cutting off resources to that whole fucking Gaza Strip, no matter if you're Hamas or not. Do you understand that? He's starving
Yeah, I understand
people.
that. That's a fairly common tactic in warfare, you know.
To starve civilians?
Yes.
Okay, well, I mean, listen, are you Jewish?
Listen to me, sir. If they did it to the Germans, they did exactly the same thing. They had a blockade and they couldn't get supplies. And it didn't stop them from attacking Berlin.
And then let me see if I can
Right.
get some comments. Hold on.
They did. They cut them off. Electricity. They cut everything off in Berlin when the Russians was bombing their way through.
So look, man, we're just saying, war is ugly. You don't want to fight a war. And by the way, I'm going to tell you again, Tyrone, you never listen to me, but I'm going to remind you again, if the Israelis are waging the kind of war that is simply designed to exterminate Palestinians, then I'm going to have to agree with you. If they are waging war, I don't care what that fool said, he's still bound by the Geneva Convention, no matter what he said.
Okay.
So let me tell you something. If they are doing what you say, then I am going to agree with you.
Okay.
But if they are simply waging, wait a minute, if they are just waging war ruthlessly to defeat their enemy, and yes, it results in being the casualties, then I'm going to have to say, that's one of the horrible things about fighting the war in the first goddamn place. That's why you don't want to fight them if you can avoid them.
Look at this picture on the damn thing. That is a building getting demolished. Well, multiple buildings getting demolished. I'm pretty sure people live there. I'm quite certain.
I bet there were enemy. I bet there were enemy positions in them too. Observation posts.
No way you can make that claim.
Anti-tank bunkers. They formed up to be anti-tank bunkers. They're making improvised explosive devices there. They were probably legitimate military targets, but you don't even want to consider that.
There's no way you can make that claim based off of this picture. The only thing
and you can't either. And you can't either.
I can say what the picture is, which is fucking goddamn buildings being knocked down with probably have families in it.
That are ideal for fortified position from.
These are multi-level buildings, like 12-story buildings.
Observation. Take the high ground. Have you never heard that before? We ever go to infantry school?
Jesus Christ.
Take the high ground. God.
Like I said, I would suggest everyone watch Channel 4 News. That's what it's called. Channel 4 News. They broadcast on YouTube, and they're showing both sides. And they're
Big J, you got wind coming through your phone, man. Mute your phone.
I'm sorry. I was from the fan. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna get off here. But yeah, I gotta say that Big Netanyahu is a part of the problem. If he wasn't prime minister, I don't think that this would have started.
No, this wouldn't be happening. This wouldn't be happening
because his policies made this occur. You can't just say, you can't just sit there and say, well, the Palestinians started it. No, look at that crazy nut job he got in his cabinet, the one he raised with the gun at people who are not Jewish. That'll do. I mean, you're going to have to look at the people who started it. You got to say it's not just the Palestinians.
Not to mention Big J. It was a intelligence nightmare. So why would you go wage war on your enemy because they got through? What you should do is fortify your position and go to red alert and reset. Because obviously what you was doing didn't work if your enemy got through. You know what I'm saying? But they not doing that. They actually going overboard. So,
well,
I mean,
they were so comfortable with having them people oppressed in the Gaza Strip. They was having concerts and shit.
Having a party in front of them.
Yeah, I mean, shit. They thought they had it under control. They won't expect those Palestinians to fight back whatsoever.
I said this last night, Tyrone, and I'm not worried about your brother Sarge. It took them fools 4 hours just to get out there.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, If anything, if
Yeah,
they know they got the Gaza Strip cornered off like that, then they shouldn't have been so close around there. Hell, they put themselves in danger. Unknown caller, who is
Tyrone,
this?
Hamas drew their
Right,
plan up in the
finally
dirt. They drew their plan up
But
in the
Tyrone
dirt,
can
and they broke through Israel's
Right,
intelligence.
do that.
Where were the
All the
Israeli
smart
police
shit.
at? Because they got a police department. They got a whole army. They let some dudes with a chalkboard
Yeah.
ran a play, and the play motherfucking went.
Walkie-talkie.
Yeah, let Elisa
Can
go.
I,
Go ahead.
to perfect.
I just want to say this because I know no one else is going to say it, and I said it before.
Right.
I condemn Hamas for this, and the reason I condemn Hamas for this, and then they run back and hide amongst the people. Look at the destruction.
That's cowardly.
I get it. That's cowardly.
Yeah, go fight. Go up to the forefront and just keep going. If you already did that, you done threw
and y'all be out there. You do this, and they hide amongst the people. And if you were to watch exactly what's going on and throughout Gaza, the amount of children they ain't pulling no punches. They showing that stuff as it is, and the amount of babies and children lined up, and women. It's just, and this is my thing. Yes, they were pushed into it, but I condemn them for this because you do this, and then you run up amongst the people and you hide when you know Netanyahu, who's a crook, Netanyahu and them, they're going to give them all of the reason and the rest of the world to come through and flatten you. And that's what's going to happen.
Giving them almost like the okay, kind of giving them the green light.
I think them taking the hostages is a play.
It's a bargaining chip, though. Yeah, I mean,
right.
They did that. I mean, they know they have to do something.
Hamas wants something. Hamas.
Well, listen. Those hostages ain't working, right? Because even though they have hostages, Israel is bombing the shit out of fucking Gaza.
Right.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Well, you know what? They would. I think that Israel is willing to lose those 100 people, so they'll blow up that whole city. I think they're willing, even though they don't want it. But I think that they're ready to accept them as sacrificial lambs, or whatever you want to call them, and say, well, they're casualties of war. We're gonna have to eat that shit for the bigger picture.
Hell, all they gotta do is lie and say Hamas killed them.
Hey, if that's true, man. That's some bullshit.
No, I mean, listen, Netanyahu, right, has a bunch of people that's opposition to him right up to this shit happening that don't want him there because you got a whole. So he was also, because they said it, a couple of days before this was happening, they had thousands of people out there protesting, and the Israeli military stopped a lot of those groups. So they have, they suppress almost like the way Russia does. Not that they're locking everybody up, but they were pushing and getting the Israelis out of there when they were protesting against their own government. So don't think for no reason that he don't give a fuck and say, you know what, we're going to have to lose some Israelis. Some of them don't even like us anyway, don't like me. You know what I'm saying? So fuck it. They're not with the program. Some of them are going to die, and some of the families, unfortunately, but I think that their goal for them is like, well, we're going to fucking destroy this place and we're going to try to kill as many as possible.
I have a conspiracy theory that I'm going to throw out.
Don't call up ABC. Don't call ABC.
All right. Now, now I'm making sure I'm telling y'all it's a conspiracy theory, but just listen to it and, give whatever critique. I don't give a damn. So Netanyahu is in trouble in his own damn country, and he knew about this intelligence. So if he let it happen to stay in power, it just
like
looks
9/11.
like that to me. I'm just saying.
9/11.
It looks like that to me.
That's what it looks like to me too.
George Bush went to war.
Right. Well, like they gave a warning to 9/11. They knew something was going to happen. Again, they didn't have all the intelligence, maybe exactly where, but they was warning. And guess what? They hit, and then what happened? They was able to use that Patriot Act and that's why I tell people, they get more conspiracy theory and they say, well, the government, they're gonna do this. No, well, they'll let shit happen, and then it gives them the easy way to. They don't got to do all the extra shit. They'll let some other country fuck up because they know things is going to happen and say, oh, now we could use these laws the way we want them because everybody else is going to agree with it. Because also,
the funny thing, Jay, New York, I think it's already backfiring on Netanyahu.
I think,
yeah.
I hope so.
Hey, mama's boy, if they fuck up, I think they have a chance of losing their anti-Semitic card if they go too far. With these
hey,
they already are.
Listen to me. They're going to kill everybody in Gaza. They're going to kill all of them people.
Oh, mostly everybody.
Man, did you see, bro?
They're going to try to kill the men and the boys.
Jay New York. I know a little bit about tanks. And anytime, well, I'm gonna just tell you like this: anytime you got 100 tanks, we just gonna say 100.
Lined up, right?
Okay. Do you understand what one tank can do by itself?
Blow up a building or 2 or 3.
Man, that can ruin. One tank by itself can fuck off Dallas. By itself.
A whole block.
Fuck off Dallas, big, riding around, shooting shit, fucking off. Ain't nothing in Dallas big enough to stop that bitch. What the fuck? You can have rows and rows of cars. It's not stopping a M1 A2 Abrams tank. It's not happening.
Tanks without infantry support in an urban environment are duck soup for any army or any people with rudimentary anti-tank capability.
That's
not true.
That is a lie.
If they got rudimentary anti-tank capability, they are duck soup.
That is a lie.
The army has never taught anything else as doctrine. I used to teach it. I know.
Okay, so hold on. We got proof of that's a lie. I don't know if y'all remember when that guy stole that tank from the National Guard Armory and he was driving around having a field day.
See,
wait up a minute, motherfucker. And he was driving around having a field day, and I think the only way that he got stopped is he drove up on a goddamn rail or some bullshit. So sorry, you're lying.
So you just ignored everything I just said. You always do that to make a stupid point. Let me say again what I just said. Tanks in an urban environment without good infantry support are duck soup for any army with a rudimentary anti-tank capability. I used to teach this as doctrine. I know it. Now, no commander sends tanks into a city because they can't see shit. You can knock out their tracks relatively easily, then they're immobilized. Once the tank is immobilized, it can be readily, easily destroyed. You don't know what you're talking about if you say that.
Sarge, I'm not going to argue none of that because that's not my field. But I know this, that maybe a civilian will get a couple of shots and maybe be lucky. And
that's what I'm talking about. You talking about some wartime shit. This motherfucker.
Did you not see the Merkava tank they knocked out with a drone? The Hamas fighters were pulling the dead crewmen out of the Merkava tank. The Merkava is considered one of the best tanks in the world.
No, but I got that. But after that,
why are you guys acting like their strengths are vulnerable? They're not.
Let's say that civilian shoots at the tank from a building or shoots a missile, a rocket, whatever, and it doesn't blow up that tank. When that tank finds out where that shit came from, it's gonna blow up what the direction. So if it's in a building, that shit's going down. So
Jay New York, listen. Before we get too far down the road, I'm just want to end this conversation real quick. Okay, Sarge, let's just say Sarge is right. But when you got 100 tanks, that one tank theory don't fucking matter. It really don't. When you got tanks supporting tanks, I mean, I'm sorry. I don't want that fight. don't want that fight. Because if you are in the rubble hiding out with an AR-15, that tank gonna run you over.
Right.
Again, I want to emphasize, in open terrain, tanks are as close to invincible as anything else on the battlefield. In an urban terrain where movement is channelized, meaning it has to go down streets, it's relatively easy to block the streets, destroy the armor, and prevent the supporting tanks from coming up behind it. It is a nightmare for armor to fight in cities where the enemy has any sort of anti-tank capability. Trust me on this. It's a nightmare. I don't care where you go in history, you'll see this.
Well, hold on. Nobody's trying to tell you that Israel is just going to send tanks in there. To even have this conversation, Sarge, you just full of shit. I'm not going down your alley.
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to stop calling them tanks and start calling them Volkswagens then, because what the fuck do we call it a tank for? It's called a goddamn tank for a motherfucking reason.
Yeah, I mean, goddamn.
Is it in the name tank? That's what the fuck it is, a tank.
Hey, Tyrone. And you know, Israel gonna give that tank air support, right? So they, like you said, the only way they're gonna be able to get into Gaza to do any damn thing is they're gonna have to level it so that the hostages don't matter. If they cared about the hostages, they wouldn't be trying to go up in there. Okay, period, point blank. They'd be trying to negotiate to get those hostages back first.
But what's pissing me off is the way the media covering it, right? They're trying to make you feel sympathy for Israel and forget about that Gaza's got civilians over there, you know?
Yeah.
Well,
Who's the investors, though, in the media?
well, the only country I feel sympathy for is the United States. I'm concerned about the interests of the United States, not Israel, not Palestinians, not anybody. So I'm concerned about what is in the United States' best interest. I just don't want nobody making up no shit about what actually happened over there. Whatever we decide.
With Hamas, so are you siding with Hamas too? Donald Trump is siding with Hamas.
I don't care what Donald Trump is siding with. I ain't siding with neither of them, actually. But I'm telling you one thing, Israel has a right to retaliate against the sort of attack that was carried out on it on Saturday. They have an absolute obligation to respond to it.
Listen, this is where I don't agree with Joe Biden.
Okay,
Joe
hold on. Let me ask Sarge
this
right here. Using your logic, right? You said Israel has a right to respond to the attack, right? Do the Palestinians?
No, I said an obligation to respond, not just the right.
Okay, they got an obligation. So do the Palestinian people have an obligation to respond from getting pushed all the way into Gaza the way they did?
First of all, let's explain what happened. See, that's why I keep saying you gotta go back to this. Now you just asked the question. See, this is what you did. Now, what you did, you're ignoring in the history of how they got to be in that position and why they're still in that position, as though it was something that just happened because the Israelis are so mean. That's not the way it came about. Now, they have the right to defend themselves against the Israeli attack. Yeah, the Israelis are attacking them in response to the attack against them. It doesn't matter. They got a right to defend themselves against Israeli attack. But let's not pretend all this is tit-for-tat morally equivalent, because it isn't.
It is because, okay, so you're saying that it isn't, right? But whenever they push,
no, it isn't.
Okay, listen. Whenever they push the Palestinians into Gaza, and they're not allowing them to get resources, and then they're doing checks and all this kind of stuff, and not allowing them and blowing up their fucking buildings and not allowing supplies to get in there. Look, that's kind of putting people in a position to where they need to push back.
What did I just say? They got a right to defend themselves. If they can, they ought to try to defeat the Israelis or surrender, one of the two.
Maybe this was a form of them defending themselves. I don't know.
Look, not that. Oh, it's a preemptive attack to attack a music festival, kill 261 people at a music festival. That was a military operation. Oh, spare me, Tyrone.
Well, diplomacy damn sure won't working.
So you just attack people having a peace rave at a desert and out in the desert.
So what?
Not even armed. Only the security guards are there. They got handguns. That's it.
Well,
the security guards.
What I want to do is direct your attention to the screen, and I want you to look at 1946, where Palestine occupied most of Israel up until 2012, to where they pushed their ass into the goddamn Gaza Strip. Them people pissed.
Palestine didn't occupy nothing. It was never a fucking country.
I didn't say it was. I said they occupied that area.
Palestine did not run shit. There were people who call themselves Palestinians who were living there with the Jews who lived there and the other people who lived there.
Okay, so with this 1948 agreement, the creation of Israel was because Palestinians lived there and they was trying to put the Jews in there with the Palestinians. Sarge, we just went over this. Now,
no, they had a partition plan. It was a two-state solution, and the Arabs rejected it. The Arabs rejected the two-state solution.
Palestinians occupied that area, though, Sarge. And we just
so did the Jews.
No,
so did the Jews.
Motherfucker, I told you about the migration. Okay,
I'm not doing this no more. The partition area for the Palestinians was bigger than the area that was set aside for the Jews.
Sarge, before UK, before British went in there, who was in that land?
The Ottoman Empire ran it. It was a province of the Ottoman Empire. The Turks, the Muslim Turks. They were Muslim Turks. They were Southern Europeans.
Southern European. Were they?
Turkey's part of Europe. Turkey's on the southwest side of Europe. They were European Turks.
Darker skin, or were they light skin like the white?
They're swarthy, like Italians.
So they were tan.
Yeah, they're not Nordics. They're not Scandinavians, but they're still Caucasians.
So they didn't consider themselves.
They're Caucasians, for the most part.
But they didn't consider themselves Caucasian, right?
Look, for all practical purposes, they are Caucasian. Okay, let's not get Nazi-like on the race classification.
No. I'm asking you, what did they consider themselves? I'm not saying
what they consider themselves to be Caucasoid. They consider themselves Caucasoid.
I'm talking about the people that were there before Britain, or the British people told them.
Arabs.
Right.
Arabs mostly.
Palestinians.
The Turks.
No, they were citizens of Jordan. They were citizens of Syria. They were citizens of Egypt. They were citizens of Lebanon. That's what they were. They were never a citizen of Palestine. Never.
Sorry. What was there before all these people migrated from all those other countries then?
It was called the Levant. Levant. Look it up. That region was called the Levant. It was a province of the Ottoman Empire.
So the
Levant.
There was Arabs living there, right?
Mostly, but not exclusively.
So now we look at that map and we see that it's mostly Israeli Caucasian looking people versus the Arab. How did that happen? You said they sold all their land?
I think I said this quite. Let me restate what I said several times already. Okay. The largest wave of them came there with the immigration of the Zionist movement headed by Theodor Herzl in the 19th century, particularly the late 19th century, starting in 1880. That's when most of them came.
And you saying that the Arabs let them in and said, "Come on in, or we're going to sell you the land"? How did that work?
They came on in because the Ottoman Empire at the time had an immigration policy that would allow them to come in there. If they paid a tax to the Ottoman Empire, they were allowed to come there and settle. They couldn't become citizens of the Ottoman Empire, though. They were subjects, actually, just like the Arabs there were. They were all subjects of the Ottoman Empire.
So in the 1940s.
So they came there legally. They came there legally through the reigning power at the time, the Ottoman Turks.
So the Turks let them in, and then who let them form a government there?
They were ruled by Turkish caliphs and sultans.
Okay, but I'm saying, when did Israelis decide to start their own government, where they say, "Oh, we're gonna be Israelis. This is what we're doing"?
Okay, they didn't start agitating for a country until I'd say after the mandatory period started about 1926, between 1926 and maybe 1933, 34, 35. That's when they started agitating for a nation. They weren't seriously doing that before that, although they were planning to.
Okay, and then what happened that they was able to form a government? What was the action, and was it a one-day thing, 2-day? How did they? The
Second World War and the migration of all those Jews out of Europe to escape the pogroms that even then were going on after the Nazis were defeated. And they were being told by the Zionists, come to Palestine. If you get in here, we have a home for you if you can get here. Now, at the time, the British set a quota on Jews coming into Palestine. And the Jews ran, it was a blockade. The Jews illegally entered Palestine. They ran around the blockades because the British weren't letting them in. And by the way, let me stress again, the Irgun and the Haganah, which were early Jewish armed resistance movements, were fighting, shooting it out with the British authorities over this.
So they went over.
That's another reason the British wanted to get rid of it. They didn't want to. They didn't want any more. That's why they want to hand it over to the UN and let the UN hash it out, because it was a big headache for them. They didn't want anything more to do with it.
Very interesting that they.
All right, Sarge telling you his version. This is what happened. Is that I don't know if you remember Yasser Arafat, right? The dude that used to wear the turban or whatever the fuck.
Right.
The Americans and the Jews seen that them people was I guess they thought them was like unsophisticated, so they tried to pull a fast one over those Arab eyes. That's all that's going on. Is that they tried to pull a fast one over those people's eyes and take that land over there. That's it.
Well,
Sarge,
you got.
Go ahead.
You think this is like the Trail of Tears or some shit, and there Andrew Jackson, there's always like Andrew Jackson putting them on. It didn't happen that way. No way, no how.
You remember Yasser Arafat and all them people that wore them torches?
Hey, do you know who Haj Amin El Husseini was, the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem? You know who he was?
I do not.
Well, he was the guy who led riots against the Jews there. He was an Arab nationalist, and he was giving the British a hard time over there. And when the Jews started moving into Palestine, he instigated a series of Jewish riots against the Jews that killed hundreds of Jews. And the Jews, naturally, would fight back because the Arabs were using riots as a political tool.
Who gave the U.S.
It's a troubling history over there. But sorry, let me ask you this here, just a little bit off base here. Why couldn't the party that you support has destroyed the American government and has shut the American government down by not having a House of Representative leader, and then they wanted to nominate a KKK member to lead the House of Representatives? Sorry, what the fuck going on?
First of all, who are you making up shit? Who's the KK member they want to nominate?
Steve Scalise.
He's a KKK member?
Yeah, he said that he's David Duke without the baggage.
So let me get this straight then. You don't pay much attention to an actual Ku Klux Klan member named Robert Byrd, but you're talking about Steve Scalise making a metaphorical point.
Up with the time. We're in 2023 right
now. Okay. I'm just saying, you're mighty closed-minded about KKK unless it's Republicans who you claim are members of the KKK. I don't care. That's my answer. I don't give a good goddamn.
You don't care utterly about unconcerned.
No. I don't care. I don't care about what you claim. No, I don't.
You don't care about having no Speaker of the House.
You have my answer. I am not changing it unless you give me some other information.
So you don't give a fuck if the American.
I stand by my statement.
Why do y'all want to burn the goddamn democracy down? To get y'all away. I don't understand that.
Man, because you know what? We're tired of being lied to by speakers, whether they claim to be Republicans or any goddamn body else. One fucking thing to consider on a bill. You don't cram every little bit of pork you can in some 2,000-page bill and then try to pass it off as legitimate by calling it an omnibus spending bill.
So
motherfuck that shit. So bring everything up for an individual vote.
So you don't want a functioning government?
No, I don't want to function like it has been. You're damn right I don't. If that means shutting that motherfucker down, let it be so.
Well, you need to move your ass out of America. Listen, you need to get the fuck out of my goddamn country so our country can fucking operate and at least run.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers like you are the reason
so
that
you can turn it.
Shut the fuck
so
down.
You can turn it.
Listen,
into,
motherfucker.
So we get. We need to go from $33 trillion of debt to $40 trillion. That's what you want.
Well, you don't get.
I don't.
Get the fuck out of my country.
I don't want to do it. You need to get the fuck out of this country because that's not the way this country is supposed to work. Last time we had a balanced budget. We had a Republican Speaker of the House named Newt Gingrich, and he balanced the budget for 4 straight years.
Okay, so
that was the last time we had a budget.
Who was the president?
Clinton. They made him do it because he didn't want to do it.
Clinton, we had a balanced budget. Okay.
They passed the budget with veto-proof majorities, so he couldn't stop it.
Up under Clinton, we had a balanced budget. Okay.
Let me say it again. He would have vetoed it if they did not have a sufficient veto-proof majority. They did. That's why that low-down motherfucker. I just said so. I just said yes, he was the president, and the only reason he couldn't stop it because he couldn't veto it.
I just want to make sure. And up under.
In other words, the Republicans forced discipline on his no good low-down ass.
So you don't want to Speak of the House?
I stand by everything I said, and I'm not taking a word of it back, unless you want me to repeat it specifically.
So
I don't care.
That means that Nancy Pelosi was the best Speaker of the House.
Motherfucker, don't you put words in my mouth. You can put her cunt in your mouth, but not mine.
But she ain't never get fired. That's for damn sure.
Well, you know what? That's because they're a bunch of zombies over in the Democratic caucus. Whatever their marching orders are, they all fall in a lockstep and start goose-stepping.
So you actually think it's cool that the Republican Party voted out their own speaker?
Not necessarily, but I can understand why they did at least.
Come on, man. You know that's the stupidest thing in the world to do, bro.
It might have been ill-considered. We shall see. I'm not saying it wasn't. But I'm getting tired of them doing the thing where they make promises and they'll disobey. They go back on the promises and we get deeper and deeper and deeper in debt that we can never repay.
Well, this government is technically shut down right now. It's not functioning.
That's fine with me.
That's fine with me. Even if we wanted to help,
fine with me.
Even if we wanted to help Israel, we couldn't because we ain't got no fucking Congress.
That's fine with me. I just might not get my National Guard pension. That's okay with me. Fuck it. Let them fix this goddamn government, this fucking economy. I'm getting tired of them backtracking and not doing what they're supposed to do. Yes, it might have been ill-considered. I will grant you. We shall see.
But
you can't keep going the way we've been going.
I don't know if you know or not, but Scalise stepped aside, so they got to pick somebody else.
Well, I didn't say it was going to be easy. As long as it ain't Hakeem Jeffries, I was okay with me.
Okay, well, you can go back to Hamas and your support for Israel.
Although it could be Hakeem Jeffries, that would be a disaster.
Nah,
well, I can see a way that it could happen.
Look, the only way Hakeem Jeffries will be Speaker is if he agreed to share power with the Republicans. So you'd have some Democrats running some committees and some Republicans running some committees, and they would always have to vote to get shit done. They be honest with you, you probably be looking at the House as being one big giant ass committee with two co-chairmen.
That sounds like a democracy to me.
Well, remember the framers were afraid of democracy. They wanted to minimize democracy wherever they could. This is the reason why.
Okay, you just made that up.
No, I didn't. The Federalist Papers say so. We ought to read them. Try reading the Federalist Papers once in a while, will you? They said so in the Federalist Papers where they were arguing the merits of the Constitution versus the demerits of the Constitution. They feared political factions. That's what they said. They feared factions in the government.
Well, the Federalist Paper is not the rule of law in this country. So fuck your Federalist Paper.
Wait a minute. I merely advanced my opinion by pointing to an authoritative source on what they were afraid of. You said that they weren't.
The Federalist paper as something to say that they were trying to get rid of the democracy or minimize democracy, and I'm telling you, the rule of law is the Constitution. So fuck your Federalist paper.
Well, look, the reason why they can't not have political parties because the Constitution forbids them from forbidding political parties. You got the right to petition your government redress of grievances, and you got a right of free association. There's no way you can prevent people from forming in a political party. It's not possible.
Like the Constitution didn't agree with them Federalist papers.
Yeah. So nobody gives a shit about the Federalist paper.
That's what they were arguing about. That's what I'm trying to tell you. The people who wrote the Constitution were even they didn't agree on everything about it.
No, listen, we're not arguing about the Federalist paper existing and the reason it exists, right? But what the final thing is the Constitution. So that kind of gets rid of it.
Well, they were arguing. They were arguing about what form the Constitution should take.
Hey, can I ask you a question, Sarge?
Go ahead.
All those guys that were arguing, did they sign that motherfucker?
The delegates to the Constitution ratified it in 1787.
I got it. So
because not all of them that wrote the Federalist Papers were delegates to the Constitution. Only the delegates to the Constitution.
That's not what I was asking you. Did they sign the motherfucker?
Not all of them could because they weren't delegates.
No, the ones who were.
You talking about the Declaration,
Sarge. You know what I'm talking about.
No, and I don't think. No, it's okay. The principal, Alexander Hamilton, John Jay, John Adams, and I forget the other one. Four of them. None of them were either delegates. Yeah, James Madison. Yeah, well, thank you. James Madison. They were the principal authors of the Federalist Papers. None of them ratified or signed or delegates to the Constitution. Not one of them.
Okay, that's what he was asking.
That's all I was asking, bro. Goddamn.
Well, I'm just saying they weren't. They were ratified by the legislatures after the delegates sent it to the states.
I got another question for you. Were there delegates that were part of the Federalist Society?
Yeah, there were some delegates that were part of the Federalist Society, yeah.
And so did they go along with the program once the Constitution was ratified?
Well, the vote wasn't unanimous, but most of them did.
Oh, there you go. That's what I was getting to.
Well,
they did what they did. They included the part of your life that you are excluding now. You know, the part where you got to just take the L. They just took the L and went along with the program, didn't they?
What do you mean for speaker?
No, they may have disagreed. They may have disagreed with certain parts of the Constitution, but they still accepted the Constitution. Is that correct?
Absolutely, they certainly did.
Okay, like I said, they took the L. They took the loss. They may not agree, but they lined up and they followed the mama duck. Everything that was done, the House Speaker was done in accordance with the rules that Congress set up. Now, what are you talking about?
I'm saying when they ousted Kevin McCarthy, they did so in accordance with House rules, saying that any one person of the House could make a motion to vacate the chair.
But you know, it was hard. You know, it was all bluster and bullshit. It wasn't over nothing really. You know, it was some bullshit, and the Republicans got caught with their pants down playing around with Matt Gaetz. You already know this, Sarge. I don't have to tell you this. You got common sense. They were in the middle of their little parlor games, and some shit in the world finally went off. And it showed just how ridiculous the Republicans was acting up there with motherfuckers' votes.
I'm not dismissing that entirely, but there was also a significant issue at stake as well.
What significant?
And that was the matter. That was a matter of submitting votes on the budget to the House for consideration. That was not insignificant.
No, they wanted to pass a clean bill, man. They want nothing wrong with passing a goddamn clean bill to keep the goddamn government open. So are you telling me that you wanted the damn government to close just because the Republicans wanted to damn cut Social Security and do what? You crazy as shit, Sarge.
It was not a clean bill. It was attached to, as a rider, attached to an omnibus bill.
But what was they trying to cut, Sarge? What were they trying to cut?
They said they did not want to vote on any more bills involving the budget in that manner.
Okay,
they said they wanted the budget to be a standalone bill. They wanted the budget to be a standalone bill.
What programs were they trying to cut, Sarge?
Well, they're talking about a lot of programs, but it really wasn't about programs. They wanted a standalone bill. They wanted a standalone bill for the budget. They didn't want it included with anything else.
It was about domestic spending, Sarge. So you need to stop.
Exactly. Matt Gaetz said it himself. The whole reason why he was doing what he was doing is because McCarthy made a whole lot of promises, and he promised to do something with spending, and ain't nothing in the bill about spending, and he fucking threw the fucking shit down and told everybody 3 days before he did it why he was doing it, and he said he'll probably do it next week, and Tuesday, what happened? Blam.
And Sarge, I don't know if you get I know you get a retirement check from the military, but I don't know if you get another check. But that we're talking about taking your fucking money, you moron. What is wrong with you?
Tyrone, they're going to get my money one way or the other. They're going to get it now or they're going to get it later. And they'll get a whole lot more of it when this economy goes belly up.
But do you realize
how are you going to pay back $33 trillion in debt?
Sarge, you cannot do it alone. Your check ain't gonna make a hill of a goddamn beans. Only thing that's gonna do for you is make you try to fucking pay your bills some other kind of goddamn way. That's stupid.
How many times I'll tell you that's the futility of trying to make everything about me? It's not about me. It's about government spending.
I'm just trying to tell you, if Matt Gaetz got what he wanted, listen to what I'm saying, you would not have got any check whenever the damn government was closed, Sarge.
Military pensions are a tiny portion of the budget and a necessary part of the budget because the military is the most important thing in the goddamn budget.
You're not.
So I mean, we're not talking about it. We're talking about spending $5 million for an environmentally friendly bird trail.
I'm saying.
I mean, goddamn, that's what we're talking about.
If the government would have closed,
we're talking about cutting money for the troops and the soldiers who have served honorably.
Listen, if the government would have closed, you would not have gotten a paycheck. Period.
No, that's for sure.
I think. Okay, here's the thing. Whenever they have these government shutdowns, they don't ever shut down all payments. There are certain things that always are funded, no matter what. Department of Justice, the Pentagon is always funded. The troops' pay is always funded. It always is. They don't cut off soldiers' pay.
Okay, so let me say this right here. So you was okay in the fact that they wouldn't have cut down all funding and you would have got your check. So I'm gonna move forward past this, but other people would not have gotten their check, Sarge. You was probably saying that you would have got your check. They don't stop all funding, and you would have got yours. But the rest of the motherfuckers that didn't get paid, Sarge, would have been getting fucked. That's welfare. Listen, that's welfare. That's senior citizens. That's fucking food programs for senior citizens. I mean, people would not have gotten paid.
That means the people that work up at the White House, at the Congress, all those government workers wouldn't have been getting shit. And if they were if they were like 1099 contractors, they'll never get that money.
And mama boy, they found out that having a government shutdown, it costs more money to get the government back open than it do to shut it down.
It almost costs 3/4 the amount that it costs to start. It costs 3/4 over the amount that it costs to start it back.
What do you think is more harmful to the budget in the long term? Continue running this deficit spending, or to shut it down for a while and have to spend a little bit more to reopen it? I got news for you. This deficit spending is what's killing us. Year after year after year after year.
Not worried about
when are we going to stop doing it? When are we going to stop doing it?
You wasn't worried about deficit spending when Donald Trump gave tax cuts to the rich.
That didn't hurt the economy. The economy grew.
It's bullshit.
The government took in more revenue after the tax cut.
No,
Let me say it again. The government took in. Okay. I'm gonna give you the GDP. I'm gonna give you the numbers. The economy took in. I know you got a problem. I know I am. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it right now. I'm gonna give you government revenues after the Trump tax cuts. They took in more money. They just spent more. That was the problem. The government keeps spending more money. No matter how much more they take in, if the economy expands, they spend more money. They do it every single time. Every single tax cut has resulted in the government getting more revenue. Every single time. They just increased the budget more than the revenue coming in. It's just a fact.
Hey, Sarge, when we have a good economy, should the government spend less when the economy's good?
The government should not spend anything more than the Constitution allows it to spend for. The specifically enumerated powers in the Constitution. I don't give a fuck about no bird trail or no bird bath or no environmentally safe bicycle path.
Okay, I'll put it to you this way. Did Donald Trump need to spend as much as he did with the good economy that you said he had? Did he need to?
No, he shouldn't have spent everything. He should have been vetoing some of that shit, especially the COVID money that was mired in fraud and waste.
Okay, so check this out. This is from the Center on Budget and Policies Priorities. Cutting corporate taxes costs significant revenue, and evidence is sorely lacking that the benefits have trickled down. Executives, disproportionately wealthy corporate shareholders and highly paid employees have reaped virtually all the economic gains from corporate tax rates. So listen, it don't help you. It don't help the economy. It helps the corporations.
You do know I do my budget every year. This year, based upon the inflation of this Biden administration, I got, for the same goods and services I was spending 3 years ago, I am now spending about $7,000 a year more on for the same goods and services cumulatively.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you like you just told me.
I know my own budget. Okay, you can't tell me what my budget is.
Right, so
I know what my budget is.
Okay, I'm not saying that you don't. I'm going to tell you like you just told me. We're not talking about you. We're talking about the U.S. economy and that tax cut for the wealthy. Do you understand that?
Okay, so I want you to tell me how the tax cut cause the economy to fail or get worse because people had more money to expand businesses, which created more tax revenue.
Okay, I ain't gonna.
How did that work? How did that work exactly?
He's lying.
He's
lying.
Who's this
They didn't expand businesses.
Hey,
you're lying. Hey.
What? Did you say?
I'm reading this article. His tax cuts were about $1.9 trillion in favoring corporations and wealthy people.
Right.
Okay. He said, the tax cuts will cause a boom in business investment. Factories are not going to be abandoned any longer. He estimated that the corporate tax cuts would trickle down to workers in the form of a $4,000 annual raise. 2 years later, however, businesses' investment is actually declining. Factory closings and mass layoffs have not ended. Wage growth is tepid, despite the continuation of the economic expansion that began 10 years ago, and gross domestic product growth is slowing and projected to revert to its long-term trend or below. Meanwhile, budget deficits are higher due to revenue losses, which have largely been triggered by the massive corporate tax cut at the heart of the TCIA. Okay, so he's lying.
Thank you.
You're lying, madam. You are lying. The COVID spending was over $4 trillion for COVID. That was government spending. That was your government spending increase.
From 35%.
How can you tell me the government cut back on spending and they increased it by $4 trillion?
Why are you yelling?
Because she's lying.
The city
she can't do math.
Forecast
She can't do math.
Tax cuts at roughly $750 billion.
$4 trillion in government COVID spending. $4 trillion.
She's sharing the economic. She's sharing the economic article with. She said
$1.9 trillion.
Let her read that shit.
She's sharing the economic article with you that you don't agree with.
She just said $1.9 trillion. She said it, not me. She just said it, not me.
Man, let her.
She don't listen to herself.
Will you let her read the article?
Not only that, it says the cost of the corporate tax cut could also swell in the coming years because of the way it was designed.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're talking about probable rather than actual.
Well, they're looking at projections. Don't most companies?
Oh yeah. That didn't work so good this last budget.
Well, when she's talking projections, she's got to use probable. Sorry, Jesus.
Man, just let the lady finish. God damn.
For example, that tax can impose certain new limits on the deductions that corporations can take for interest expense. The law requires corporations to amortize or spread out their research expense deductions over 5 years and then implemented a new minimum tax on overseas profits. But these provisions are not fully in effect until 2022 or later. Undoubtedly, corporations that lobbied for the TCIA's passage will again turn to Congress requesting relief from these delayed revenue-raising provisions. They include special tax breaks for corporations that are only temporary, including immediate write-offs for equipment and machinery investments, which companies will likely seek to extend. If Congress complies, which is possible or even likely, if past experience is any indication, then the cost of this corporate tax cuts will increase by hundreds of billions of dollars. And it says many other corporations that are large and profitable are paying no taxes. None.
There is not a corporation in the world. There is not a corporation in the world that does not pass tax increases onto the consumer. I don't know what world you're living in, but that doesn't ever work that way. Not ever. Not ever.
They don't do that, Sarge. They keep it for themselves.
They do. They pass all of their operating taxes on to the consumer. Since when? Since when? All the consumers are complaining about the inflation rate. They're not stopping buying anything.
That trickle-down shit do not work.
That's why they're noticing the inflation.
That trickle-down shit do not work, Sarge.
Again, that's why they're complaining, because they're noticing how much. Will you stop babbling? Well, that's why they're complaining about how much they're spending on the stuff they used to spend money on. It's more money. It costs more. A gallon of gasoline is $1.85 more a gallon.
Sarge, economists has already said that.
You are so zombified. I've never seen
either of those.
You're a zombie, a total zombie. They ate your brain. I mean, you put it $1.85 more per gallon for gas. It's the inflation that's killing us, not the tax cuts.
Oh, God.
He said a
gotta be nuts.
Okay, right.
You got to be crazy. You're a fool and an academic. What's even worse, you're a fucking academic. You can't get no more stupid than that. You asshole. Go suck a dick, you silly bitch. Fuck you.
No thanks.
What is wrong with you?
I'm sick of this bitch. She always starts that goddamn shit. Motherfucker.
Listen.
Motherfuck that bitch.
Okay, well, I'm going to end YouTube.
Goddamn sack of shit.